All right, folks, we're live. We're back after the mid-season break. We've been out of action for 2 or 3 weeks, but we're back at it tonight for St. Pat's versus Harps. Another tough away fixture for the Harps. Joined, as always, by my main man, Keith Cowan. Good to see you, Cowan. How's the form, lad?
Not too bad, Chief. Not too bad, Chief. We had a few weeks off there. We're rested and recuperated, and hopefully we're going to get 3 points tonight. Probably 1-1 and 5 is not what we're used to now as Harps fans, and we're kind of, it's kind of been a great start to the season. A couple of blips recently, but I think tonight, look, it's going to be a tough game. A few injuries as well that we'll get to look at now in a minute if we can get the team up. But a few injuries that caused Ollie to reshuffle the pack. It looks like.
But good to see. Obviously, we've been saying a few times over some of the broadcasts we've done that we wanted to see some new faces in there. And I think one that we've been looking for is Ryan Rainey. So big opportunity for him tonight, Cowan. He's coming into the team. He hasn't played a lot of football. I think he's made 2 substitute appearances. I think he came on against Pats the last time we played them, and he came on at the weekend against Derry. So glad to see him in there. What are we going with here? Are we at a 4-3-3 here, or what are we looking at?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of what we were chatting about earlier. Where is he going to fit him in? I suppose, look, it goes out saying Mark McGinley will start in goals. We'll probably look at a back four of. I can only think that Ryan will start right back. Then you'll have Koss and Shane McElhinney in the middle. I think he might move Ethan Boyle over to left back. But again, this all remains to be seen. We're always having a punt at this. Leaves the two Coyle, Seymour, McNamee, and then I think it leaves. Will that leave us with front three of Owolabi, Peroil Foley shipped out the left, and can be Connor Barry on the right?
Could be. Or would he play Barry McNamee in a front three and maybe slot Barry into midfield, or slot Connor Barry into midfield along with Seymour and Mark Coyle? Could do that as well. I don't know if Barry maybe be more suited to play in the front three. It'll be interesting to see. But I'd say you're probably not far off with that, Chief.
Yeah, look, I suppose it's good to see Ethan getting his goal there last week as well. Unfortunately, it was in a 2-1 defeat, but a different goal scorer for Harps. He played quite well in the game. I thought it was a good goal. I thought it was a set piece, and we weren't really getting too many of those. We were conceding plenty of set pieces, but we weren't getting many at the other end of the pitch for a team that's physically has all the attributes. You've got 6 foot plus all along the back four there. So it was good to see us get a goal on the attacking end of those. And unfortunately,
just on Boyle, Cowan, I know you've a good time from him. You were a big fan of him during his first spell at the club. He's came on for a bit of criticism from some Harps fans, in terms of distribution and stuff. What's your opinion of him being since coming back in? Obviously, he went to Shamrock Rovers, then he went to Linfield, arguably 2 of the biggest clubs in the country. Would he suffer from being a bit of a utility player where he can play in the middle of the park? He can play left back, right back. It can be hard when you're being shuffled around all over the place. But obviously, he's a mainstay in the team. So Higgsy and Ollie love him. What's your opinion of him being since he came back into the fold?
Yeah, look, again, just as you touched on there, Ollie and Higgsy love him. He's everything that they try and, well, Ollie especially, that will try and build this team around. Athletic, good in the air. Can get up and down the pitch, can play in a couple of different positions as well. I think it was more Higgsy was trying to push him into the middle of the field. I know he was there in his first spell. He was trying to be pushed into that position. I think maybe at times in games he could be maybe guilty of not showing enough quality on the ball. Maybe getting maybe the wrong side of his man at times defensively. Just kind of focusing on that area because that's where he's played most. Interesting to see where he's going to line out tonight. I think it's been difficult for him maybe because he's been there before, and he's actually done really well for Harps. And he went and got his move to Shamrock Rovers and then to Linfield. So everybody's expecting so much more of him now that he's been at those 2 clubs, and then he's come back in, and everyone's going to be looking to him, for to be a leader, to organize. Yeah, and I think at times we haven't seen the best of him as of yet. And I would say that from someone who's played with him before. who has like seen his quality, and I just think that I don't think he'll be happy with his performances. Put it like that. I think he's.
Okay. So from what you're saying, then he's quite self-critical as well. Then, and he'll not be. I think you're right here. I just see the game started, and he's in the left back position, Cowan. So you're never far away, lad. So that's the back four. I'm just trying to see if Rainey's at right full. Probably looks like that. But anyway, Pats, hey, have you been impressed with St. Pat's this season, Cowan?
Yeah, I thought Pats have been great. I thought, I just think that Stephen O'Donnell seems to, really have them well organised. They have a good team in there. They've got great players in all areas of the park. I just you just look at, they've won their last. Would it be one in saying that they've won their last 3 in the bounce? Since the break, they've come back really strong. A couple of great results in there. As I say, quality all over the park, well organised, very good at home. I think they've.
Who's their danger man, Cowan? Obviously, for Foresters enjoying a bit of a renaissance after sort of a difficult spell cross channel after starting reasonably well. You've came up against him before he went across the water, and he's a top player. Would you say he makes them tick, or is there anyone else that's caught your eye?
I think he's got a lot of quality. I think that's evident. The way that he can control games, dictate games. He has an eye for goal as well. Coughlin up top. Came from Sligo there last season. And he's really hit the ground running. And I've played against him a few times, and he's one of those strikers where you kind of figure out what's he really good at. Is he quick at running behind? Not really. Is he great in the air? Not particularly, but he's neither good nor bad at all those things. But then he always pop up in the right place. He's an intelligent striker. He's you see him the way that he would kind of maybe show the defender one way, and then next thing he's kind of dropping in behind them. So I think he's a really intelligent footballer, and there's goals in him as well. And then you have the young lad Billy King as well. He's come up with a couple of goals. So they've got quality all over the park, and they'll be looking.
That's an early chance for them again there now. A set piece. Mountney got in the end of it, but it was a good delivery. I think it was Forrester actually that delivered it. Another free header. I don't know if I'm a bit ahead of you, and I'm just seeing that it looks like Will Seymour's at right back. So I think it's Seymour right back, McElhaney, Siddiqui, Eaton Boyd left back, and then I think. I'm still not sure who's in the middle. Coyle and McNamee look to be in the middle, and I think Conor Barry, and maybe is Ryan Rainey playing right of a front three? I don't know. Maybe anyone watching there in the comments can help us out. But it looks like Seymour. It definitely looks like Seymour's at it right back.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody who's having a look at the game, get involved. Get your comments in. Just tell us what you think. What do you think of the new approach? I suppose the new team selection that's maybe been forced upon. All I know, Carlos Sullivan's been suspended. He's suspended for tonight, so that's why he's not in. And I know that Webster was maybe injured last week as well. He didn't play against Derry. So,
and Cowan has there's obviously I've seen last night Niall McGinley's joined Jericho and Jamie Brown as well. And I think there's Mark Russell.
Is that a new team in the?
Sorry, what did I pronounce it as, Chief?
Jericho. I think it was Jericho.
Jericho. Is that not the correct pronunciation of it?
Maybe it is.
Well, congratulations as well to you. Remiss of me not to mention your move to Dungannon Swift's side.
Cheers, man. Yeah.
Mick, you were surplus to requirements up there at the Oval, Mick McDermott.
I was wondering how I was going to take for you to come for me tonight. You weren't happy.
You started it picking up on my pronunciation. But look, hey, McDermott said your legs were gone, but I'm sure you'll prove him wrong next year, hey, with the Swifts lad. But well done, all joking aside. But
he's probably right. The legs probably gone. But
the legs have been gone for a few years, lad. Jeez.
It was good to have legs. Yeah, it was good to have legs at some stage in my career.
Hey, you play the game up here, Chief. You play the game up here. But anyway, lad, we're still trying to figure out the team, but I'm pretty sure we're not too far away from it, right?
Yeah.
Good to see supporters back in the ground as well, so people won't have to be subjected to me and you doing watch-alongs for much longer, which is a bonus as well. But
I don't think anybody watching that game will be able to tune in to us anyway, Chief. But as you say, it's good to see supporters back in the ground, and it's good to see people that be subjected to the LOI TV, skipping and stopping, and 5 minutes.
It's not going great for me. I don't know where I'm at 5 minutes here. Oh, good play from Barry there.
I'm at 5:13. Yeah, Barry's cut on.
Yeah,
but
few seconds ahead of you, so I am, but nothing major. Free kick into the box. Oh, who do you want on this? It's not really for a left footer. You got to have big Foley on it, don't you?
Barry's over having a sniff here, as in Connor Barry. McNamee's around it. Ethan Boyd's around it. It's definitely going to look to be a ball in the box here, unless Connor Barry is maybe.
You're not putting in the box here, are you? It's too.
He looks like he's going to have a strike here anyway.
Worth a pop, like.
Yeah, 3-man wall, just I suppose more on the left-hand side of the box here, but it's definitely within hitting range.
Ah, it is. Hit the wall. Oh, that wasn't far away, lad.
You're definitely a wee bit ahead of me. Oh yeah, side netting, hits the wall, comes back to him, flashes it into the side net, and actually reminds me of one that Matty Crossan scored up in the Brandywell one night. I think you remember that one. He's hit it and has come back off the wall, and he's spanked it into the top corner, second attempt.
Aye, and I think his first goal was a free kick, and he stanced it. And then the second one was straight into the wall, and then two unbelievable goals it was.
Yeah,
but I good strike, good start. 2 chances there. Like Pat's had one with a header from Mountney, and it was a decent opportunity there. Good effort, so decent start from Harps, anyway.
Yeah. You see Ryan really closing here. He's playing further forward. We seem to have. Is Barry operating more on the left with Barry?
I think he is. Yeah.
With Connor Barry central, and then Rainey more to the right. Oh, they seem to be like a diamond there, and the three in the middle. Anyway, so they do.
It seems. Yeah, I think it's Rainey, Connor Barry, and Coyle as a midfield 3, and then maybe when we're in possession, Barry's looking to go out wide left, Foley to the right, and Tunde through the middle, I think, but as you say, they might fall into a diamond then out of as well, but decent start. What did you make of the last couple of results? Bit of a mixed bag, obviously. Fantastic result away to Shamrock Rovers and Tala, full value for it, but then obviously it's never nice to lose against the other mob, and disappointing 2-1 defeat at Finn Park. What was your view of the last 2 results, Chief?
The first one, I suppose, they've gone to Tala and done really well against Shamrock Rovers. Very much, could have won the game. I suppose that's kind of the manner in which they conceded the goal is going to be so disappointing. Under no real pressure, big costs under no real pressure. And he's just had a moment really where it's just we got the first goal up here on the screen, and it's a great ball from Barry. Foley does really well, kind of keeps us when he gets into that area. It's so easy just to smash it across the goal or to.
Oh, it's a great finish. It's a great finish because it's not easy. It's far from an easy finish, and you're fancying the keeper from that angle. You're fancying the keeper, and he's done him. He's done him a keeper through the legs.
Yeah. He's done really well. He's got, as I say, you get in those type of positions. You've seen strikers so many times just smash it, have a pop. He's so composed. And that's through the start of the season that he's had. That's through the confidence that he's playing with at the moment, where he's probably going out thinking he's going to score in every game. And
at the other end of the pitch, Cowan, you know yourself as a centre half, if you make mistakes, they typically end in conceding goals, and that's what happened to Siddiqui. But great response from the big man, happening so early on. He went on to have a great game, so kind of showed his strength of character as well in terms of being able to bounce back, because plenty of people can crumble when they make a mistake like that. So, in fairness, got to give him credit.
Yeah, very much so. I was speaking to a few of the guys, and they were saying, like what we kind of spoke about the goal, and he was just like in the changing rooms, he just hold his hands up and says, "I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking." Probably that wee bit of rustiness too, coming back from the break. You know what I mean? Like sort of like when you're doing it week in, week out, like he's got so much time, so cool on the ball, and you can't really you can't really do that. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
you can't. And he's had a look as well. He's looked once, he's looked twice, and then he's just tried to, wait some, and that's poor. Like, because as you say, it wasn't like, he was caught cold. He had plenty of ample opportunities to deal with it, and didn't happen.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those ones when you have maybe a couple of things in your mind, when you have a couple of options, that's when you kind of get a bit confused with it. But look, he'd be disappointed more than anyone. There's no point, saying too much more about it. Like he was saying in the change rooms, he held his hands up. He was just like, lads, I'm so sorry. Like, so.
Yeah, and again, as we say, he did well. He went on to have a good game as well, and it was a great result. But I was disappointing in Derry as well, wasn't it? It's always difficult to lose the Derby games.
It's always a game that that's like there's never any team talk required, and you go in there and it's like, it's funny. I was speaking to a few of the boys, and you were just more than any other game, you're just like,
scramble there.
Scramble, sorry, just Chief, there's a bit of a goal mouth scramble there. I think we're looking for. I think Pats were looking for a penalty.
They were looking for a pen there.
They were looking for a.
Is there replays on LOI TV? There's probably not, is there?
No,
they were looking for a pen.
Looking for a pen. I think that it was offside. Then I think it was switched to the left.
It was offside, but it went to the back stick there. But
just as we were saying about the Derry game there, like it was, as I say, like you're kind of really wishing them well when they go and play in those Derby games, like, because it just means so much to them. And there's always a wee bit of niggle in those games. There's always especially when there's fans there as well, that type of way. There's always that great, wanting to win and just to do anything to try and get the 3 points or whatever it is. Like, so to eventually lose that game and after getting back into it, like, was just again, it'll be massively disappointing. And again, the time of the goal just before half time, a set piece. But fair play to young Patchen. Like he's been a
great goal, isn't it? In fairness, like it's a super goal.
That skill is unbelievable. Anybody come up the ball in the top corner from the edge of the box, you have to take your hat off to them. Like, but again, just disappointing for Harps, disappointing to lose that game after beating them in the Brandywell, and maybe think, like, I think Harps went into that game as favourites, which is probably the first time.
Definitely. I suppose as you touched upon at the start, Cowan, 1-1-5, our expectations have been raised because of how well Harps have done it at different stages in the season. And after getting the result down at Tala against Shamrock Rovers, I was fully, this is the replay on the penalty. I don't know if you're up to speed in it. Nah, it's never a pen. I know you're a wee bit behind, but you'll see it in a second, Keith. But it's never a pen for me here now.
It goes down too easy. Cost has just gone, like, kind of just side to side with him, and I don't know if he's looking for a pen, but he just falls over far too easy. And
he's definitely looking for it, but no penalty there. But no, just going back to Derry, like, as I said, I was really confident. Obviously went to the Brandywell, beat them. I just thought the result against Rovers would have given us that little bit extra. But it wasn't to be. Look, you got to give credit to Derry as well. They came and done a good job and got a good result. Yeah,
definitely. So we can go back to your first point about a few of the lads going to Derek View, and before I very, very, very rudely cut across you.
Very rudely corrected my pronunciation. I don't like it, lad, but that's the teacher in you. I understand. That's your job. You're there to correct people, make them better. I understand. But what do you make of it, lad? I know I think you were there when McGinley, during his first spell at the club. I don't know, maybe if I'm right or wrong. But
it's funny. I actually remember him playing in Pats. He started the game a couple of seasons ago in Pats and done really well. And I think we conceded a goal maybe really late on. I think they might have scored in the 89th minute or something like that. It was really late on. And it was a bit of a sucker punch. We were kind of caught high up the field and they just kind of switched it and they end up in the back of the net. But, like, played really well. You're kind of thinking at that stage then, this man's starting these type of games. Excuse me, he's going to kick on. He's going to be playing.
Yeah.
It didn't really materialise anything. I know he was very much a Higgsy player. That Higgsy was, the guy that was pushing him and wanting him to do well and, wanting to play in the team. And I think it was.
And what was the strengths, Cowan? Just to, sorry for cutting across you, but just I haven't seen him play. Was he technically a good player, or was it athleticism? What was the strengths?
Technically, he was very good. He was very comfortable on the ball, and he was quite a strong. Quite a strong guy, and he was able to turn both ways, and just kind of he wasn't easily pushed off it. When he did have a good range of passing. I think there was question marks over his fitness levels, just to maybe getting about the park. From what I remember, I think that's why Higgsy maybe pulled him out then at that stage. From what I remember, because there was no doubt in his quality. He's a very good footballer, very good. As I say, I thought he would play, some minutes at this stage.
I don't think he did he feature at all in any of the games? I don't think he did.
I don't think he has.
No.
I can't remember him getting any time.
I don't think he did. I know he's been on the squad several times, but I don't think he featured. I actually was looking earlier, just in terms of the squad, and we talked about the depth of the squad, but I was just looking at it, and Harps, they haven't played a lot in terms of mixing and rotating that squad. I think I was looking at it that basically Siddiqui, Webster, McElhaney, Ethan Boyle, Tunde of late, Foley, Seymour, McNamee, Coyle, O'Sullivan. That's the mainstays, Bailey, and obviously McGinley. So those 11 players essentially seem to be his go-to 11. Just based on over the course of the season. You've had Rainey, obviously, first start tonight. Tony's had one start, Tony McNamee. Then you've had Timlin, a couple of appearances off the bench. Connolly's had injury issues. Connor Barry's back in tonight, but hasn't played a lot. And obviously, Shanley left. McGinley and Brown have left. And not sure what the situation is with Russell.
There's Mark Russell, I think the chat with Mark Russell is that he's left as well.
Has he? I didn't see it anywhere yet, but I heard the rumor. But
again, I think it's just I said I haven't spoke to Mark Russell myself, and he hasn't told me he's gone. But
that's the word on the street is that he's gone.
The word on the street is he's gone. The young keeper Nicholas, I think, is gone. I think they've signed Ger Doherty, ex-Derry keeper, and who was a Crusaders for the last couple of seasons. So he'll bring a lot of experience as well. I think. If it's like a player coach role, I'm not really too sure, but definitely a great man to bring into a side. And as I say, the way that he goes about his business and the way that he prepares for games, and that'll be excellent for any of even young McGarvey there. I think who might have picked up another injury, if I'm right in saying.
I think he broke his finger. I'm hearing, so it's disappointing for Paddy. But look, he's a young keeper, and he's an excellent keeper, and he'll get plenty of opportunities. But it was interesting. I just wanted to actually just see how much Harps in terms of the squad, and now that seems to be his go-to 11 with a few lads coming in and out of it off the bench, maybe. But I think if those 11 players are fit and available, that's who's gonna play.
And I suppose, look, that's fair enough, because I think that these players have got him a certain amount of results earlier on in the season. Again, I suppose at this stage now they're tried and tested. But if you're going to go through an entire season with only using maybe 16 players, or 15 players, or whatever the case may be, you're not going to be able to keep a squad happy if that's the case. You have to be given, there's opportunities in games, and don't get me wrong. Yes, the players that are starting the games, they probably are the best players now. But there's not a whole lot of difference between the likes of maybe a Ryan Rainey getting a run tonight, and maybe moving things around, or can you not fit? Is Tony McNamee so far off the likes of a Connor Barry? Can he not do that job? Can I not give Tony a game tonight, and then keep him interested then for the rest? Not just one game, obviously, but a few games, and
but feel a part of it. Absolutely, absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
Because these guys,
do you think that?
I'll go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, do you think that lack of squad rotation has maybe been why Harps have been inconsistent of late after that great start? It is tough, and they are part-time. You're playing Friday and Monday a lot of the times. And if you aren't rotating that squad, it is hard given, the way Harps play and the energy levels. Is that maybe an indicator as to why Harps' form of late has been so patchy after what was a great start?
I suppose you could look at that, yeah, Chief. You could look at that and think that it's got something to do with it. All right, like when you look at maybe the manner in which Harps have conceded a lot of goals recently, it doesn't really seem like fatigue as such.
No,
you know what I mean? But then look, you put that into mental fatigue for lack of concentration. You know what I mean? It's not like Harps are out on their feet and they're getting battered. That doesn't seem to be the way of it. But I suppose, look, you could look at a number of different factors why Harps, haven't been as, have continued on the way that they started the season. But I do think that squad rotation, if they're not doing that as much, it does create a bit of a divide within a squad if lads aren't getting played. And like we know ourselves, I was part of it there recently up with Glentoran, where if I'm a younger player, I find that really hard to deal with. Well, look, I find it hard to deal with as a senior player because I want to be playing. But if you're a young player, if you're still trying to make your way in the game and stuff, and you're not getting a kick, you're not getting even brought on last 5-10 minutes, as we know the old saying goes, boys lose the head goes, and then it's just like the boys kind of not have a bad attitude or thing, but they're not as I suppose supportive then of the team that's on the pitch.
No, you're angry, 100%. We've always said it, manager's the best man in the world when he's playing you, and when he's not, he's the worst man in the world. It's as simple as that. Yeah,
definitely. Those could be, there could be loads of attributing factors, but I would say trying to keep the squad happy and trying to keep this the squad kind of turning over. I suppose was there a chance there?
That was a great strike there. I don't know where you're at, lad. I don't know who had it.
Ethan Boyle, great save, He's got down well.
It's a great strike from Boyle, and it's a super save.
Yeah, Ethan Boyle's going after. He's looking for another goal tonight as well after his one at the weekend. He was sort of saying it's about time that he got one.
The replay is coming up here now, Chief, so you'll get a look at it here again. Barry tries to play a wee pass and it falls. Oh, it's a great strike.
Yeah,
you'll get a look at it now. It's a great controlled strike from Ethan Boyle, to be fair, and it's a good save. Let's be honest, you'd be expecting the keeper to save it, but still a great effort from Ethan Boyle. 22 minutes in the clock count. Good start from Harps, well in the game, playing quite well.
Could you say that was the best chance of the game so far? Did you see that?
You probably could. Mountain's header was a good chance too, but I probably was. It was the best. Yeah. McGinley hasn't had anything to do, and neither is him. Neither is the Pats keeper. So I would go with that one, Chief.
Got a few comments coming in here, Chief. If we look at those, we'll go up to the top here first. Emmett Rob said Russell's a big loss. Yeah, Russell is a big loss. Again, haven't played with him, and he's a good lad. He's a good lad around the dressing room. Was it lack of game time?
Very good player.
Very good player. And I think he was kind of one where last year I didn't know if he was going to come back, and then he ended up coming back, and then it's kind of one. I think he was maybe just looking for something a bit closer to home. To be honest, I think that he's obviously the first time he came over, he had Ashcroft and a few of the lads were all together type of way. And maybe he thought. I think it was a case he really made the best of it that time, and then he's thinking, ultimately, if the guy wants to be in Scotland, he wants to be around his family and friends.
And he probably hasn't featured as much as he would have expected maybe this season as well, and that's probably a factor as well. So it's one of those. But I'd say, as you say, he wants to be back in Scotland, which is fair enough.
Yeah, it was a Sligo game, I think, where when Sligo went down to 10 men and Harps made a sub, and instead of maybe bringing on, I think they were a goal down at that stage. Would that be right?
Brought on Dunleavy, didn't they?
They brought on Dunleavy, and as if you're looking to score, if it had been a role reversal, and then Sligo had been, Harps had been one up, then you bring on a defender maybe to shore things up a bit. I thought maybe Russell was on the bench that night. Now, again, do I know he was fit? He wasn't fit. What was the story? I don't know. But I'm thinking there's an opportunity to bring on an attacking player and go and get a goal, and there's not many better.
And he brought Johnny on the left side as well, which obviously isn't naturally for Dunleavy, where Russell is a naturally left-sided player. So I remember speaking to you about that. It was a strange substitution that night, wasn't it?
Yeah. I remember thinking that at the time as well. So yeah, I suppose he maybe been frustrating. Again, one of those ones, maybe a bit selfish, maybe on his part, where he's not getting enough game time, so he's just thinking, what, I'm out of here. So look, we'll see.
Is that a Coca-Cola fork? Ryan Grant has said, absolutely not. I'm an athlete, wouldn't touch the stuff. So just want to clarify that. And D. O'Neill, if those young lads don't get a chance, there will be more going to Derry View. We've had this conversation before. Dahi Ramsey, put this to you, Karen. I don't blame any player leaving because they're not playing, but a manager can only start 11 players. Would you have him rotating the starting lineup every match? Personally, before I put it to Karen, I wouldn't have him. I don't think that's a good thing, rotating the starting 11 every match. But when there has been a couple of poor results and we've been looking for maybe to freshen things up because the results have gone poorly, he's stuck with that 11, and maybe there has been times that he should have brought players in. But what do you reckon, Karen? I mean, you're someone centre half. You probably don't like the back four being tampered with much. Like, what's your overall view of squad rotation?
Yeah, look, I suppose you can't say that maybe the opportunity hasn't been there because results haven't been good of late. Like we see a couple of changes here tonight, forced on them maybe as such.
Chance here in the break, is there?
Yeah, Harps in the break here now. Yeah, Connor Barry, go on. Olabi's through, fully inside him.
He's got to do better there, hey?
Couldn't make the pass.
Gotta do better there, the big man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have to do better.
Pats were stretched there, Chief.
Got a corner out of it. Yeah, Pats are very, very much. I think they were looking for a penalty again at the edge of the box, but it looked like more like a free out. Coughlin had a chop at Mark Coyle there as he was clearing it. And then kind of end up on the deck. But no, a good break from Harps, done really well. Just that final ball from Olabi. You would have wanted him to do a little better, look like, or even go himself. Type of one. Swung in again. Cross gets a final touch, and it's out for a goal kick. Yeah, just I suppose getting back to what you're saying there, Chief, about the squad rotation. I don't think you just change players for the sake of playing, changing them. But you have to keep a squad of players happy. You have to try and manage it. It's about managing the squad, managing the team. Good or bad. You have to try and keep these players happy. Whether it's a case of explaining to them why it's it's unfortunately in the times that we're in as well. There's no reserve football. There's no real outlet for the players who aren't playing for the first team. So they're going to be frustrated. They're going to be disappointed that they're not playing. Again, we touched on again. There was no League Cup early on to try and get some players or squad players a game. So that's something that we mentioned before. Olabi another chance there.
Keeper done well, but no, I think you're 100% right. And just to clarify with people, 100%, you're going to reward players who play well week in, week out, and we've Cowan already said that those 11 probably do deserve to play a lot more than others because they have helped Harps get their best results. But Niall McGinley not getting any minutes. If people need to realise he's been training since January. So he's trained January, February, March, April, May, June, 6 months, travelled all over the country, and he hasn't got a single minute. So, that's difficult. Rainey, he's had 2 substitute appearances. He's done quite well. I know we're Team Rainey here, but I thought he's looked tidy on the ball. He's kept it. He's looked after it well. And again, for someone who hasn't, this is his first start at senior level. He's doing excellent. Yeah,
definitely. It hasn't looked out of place for him, and hasn't played much. Again, you see, we're kind of it's one of those situations where it's coming now the middle of the season. It's coming the transfer window. There's going to be comings and goings. There is going to be more lads leaving than the ones that we're talking about. There is going to be other lads coming in. So it's just, I suppose it's, what I mentioned there before is it's about managing the team, managing the squad. We know what the 2 lads are like in terms of how they manage people. There's throwing out there's not many arms around the shoulder. There's not many look you're doing well, stick at it.
There's definitely not. Hey, fucking get on with it. Hey, get on with it.
And see that's only goes so far, But then look, maybe you have to appreciate that honesty too. If lads think that yeah, he's telling me I'm going to play, I'm not going to play. But I just think there can be a balance there with that type of stuff, and like to encourage players that that there is an opportunity, or there will be an opportunity for them to play, or whatever the case may be. Any more jumping at you there, Chief?
What other comments are in here? Adele O'Neill, sick of blowings coming in taking a handy wage for half a season or finishing their time with Harps because no one else wants them. When does the club invest in homegrown talent who have dedicated their football careers to the club and get left out? I feel this is a disgrace. Look, I think we've done that. We've talked about this a lot. There's no right or wrong answer really. Like the model Harps have gone with traditionally has always been, under Ollie anyway, he's been looking to import players rather than maybe promote players from within or whatever. But I think maybe Adele's referencing people like Tony McNamee and that who have been at the club a long time and has been proven to be a top player and hasn't really got an opportunity this year. So maybe I don't know if Adele is referencing Tony McNamee or she's referencing, I don't know who the blow ones are. I think if you're looking at it honestly, out of the 11 that's in there, like Foley's been a great signing, Siddiqui, Webster, Akalini's done well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Paddy McGill, good show, lads. Good man. Paddy has got his own GA podcast. It's quality stuff. I know, Cowan, you're not a big GA man, but if you were, I would recommend to go on Paddy McGill's GA podcast. Top class. He gets good guests on, unlike us getting Paddy McCann and that. Like, you know what I mean?
That's fun, Steve. Boys like that.
Exactly. Yeah, proper national icons of Gaelic. But good man, Paddy. Thanks for tuning in. Hey,
Denise having a pop here. So she's saying you two were the biggest blow-ins of them all. So
hey,
is Adele having a pop at us? Is this what it is?
I don't know. Maybe it is. Hey, do you remember Denise was one of them as well? Denise and Lorna. Remember, you'd get a bit of a spanking at Finn Park. You'd be beat 3 or 4-0, and you go in to get your wages, and then they'd be, he's taking your wages tonight, are you, boys? He's taking your wages after that performance. They love that one, and you're like, you'd swear we were getting paid big money. You have some neck, and you're taking your wages tonight, lads. She loved the wee dig.
Yeah. Good one. Cheers for that, D. So
bring Joey O'Leary back. That's what I say.
Harp shot for a penalty here. Harp shot for a penalty. Olabi. What's happening? Is he giving a corner?
Corner, lad.
He's giving a corner. Yeah, big shout for a penalty there. Olabi, hands in the head. Can't believe it. Didn't actually see it myself.
I was too busy. I giving the O'Neill a bit of a touch, so. I didn't actually see it. Corner coming in here.
Go on. Ooh,
that's a chance. That's a chance there.
Yeah, he's got up well. He just seemed to maybe misjudge the flight of the ball there slightly, because it looked like he was just about to nod that in.
Hi.
Terrible League of Ireland replay or LOI TV replay. That would just see two players.
How are you supposed to see if that's a penalty? All I seen was Olawabi lying on the ground.
Two of them lying on the ground. Ball's out for a corner. It's very hard to tell for that one. But they love to keep us guessing.
As Mary McGinty would say, get the wireless out. Yeah. Jesus. Modern technology
all day. Ian Slavin says, how is that not a penalty? How not a penalty?
Slavin, you must be getting a better length than me and Cowan, because I couldn't even see the replay.
Slavin's probably there, is he?
Are Heart fans allowed to travel to away games? I thought it was only. Are they? Maybe they are. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you need to be elite. You need to be an elite member of the board to get up to those games. Very, very, very important people get to those games.
How do you get into the games? DJ, hey, you're not here with Bosch. Bosch was in the middle of that crowd wrecking Letterkenny at the weekend.
Was he?
DJ Bosch was playing the tunes, doing a bit of difference.
His face was all black with an exhaust smoke.
Bosch was sniffing Diff all weekend, keeping her tight to the cone. Hey,
Shocking. All right, let's go back here. Darren McNulty makes a point. I not believe the subs are good enough. Could that be the reason for no rotation or not using certain players? Fair point. Look,
100%.
He signed a squad, but this is the thing about trusting the players.
He signed me, and he had no interest in playing me.
That's fair enough, Chief. That's fair enough. But I'm talking about these players.
I'm not going to listen again. It's a bit like Mick McDermott up there at Glentoran signed a good, experienced old centre half and Keith Cowan. And if you were needed, he would have played you.
Good experienced old centre half.
I'm sorry, Chief. Father Time's catching up with you, Chief. You're 35. Look, you're still my favourite centre half, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. You know what I mean?
Fair enough, yeah. Look, the proof's in the pudding, I suppose. That's harsh, though. That's harsh. But I'll tell you.
Come on.
That's going to turn out.
You're well fit for.
What's up? Mary McGinty, listen, lads, I've been watching live stream and watching Russia v Denmark. Sweat blind you, Mary. Take it easy. You just focus on one. Focus on what's the score with Russia Denmark there. Mary, you can fill us in. You go around clipboard to get into the games these days. It's not easy, this football, Mary. And Kelly's having a go there. It's not easy. A couple of other games going on there tonight as well. A couple of derbies. You have
Dundalk. Bows and Shamrock Rovers,
Yeah, Bows Shamrock Rovers one. Drogheda Dundalk is another one. And Derry.
Speaking about Bows, lad, what about Georgie Kelly getting 4 goals last week?
Unbelievable. 4 goals in any game with a League of Ireland Premiers division match.
At any level, like 4 goals.
Drogheda have been flying as well. Drogheda have been doing really well.
Drogheda's been fantastic. Like probably of that last series of games were arguably the informed team in the league. They were picking up results everywhere. So just shows you that the nature of the League of Ireland too. Like it can be such a bizarre league.
Have Pat scored?
So, what?
Am I behind if Pat scored?
I'm on 36 minutes. What are you at?
36 as well, but it's on. No, it's not. It's at 38.
Well, let's watch it. Pats are 1 up, so let's see what. I was just about to say, 2 Harps, probably the better side. Would that be fair?
Fair enough, yeah.
I think they've been well in it. Like, it's been very even. It's been a very even game. Harps have had probably the better chances, but Pats have scored. What's happened? Mark Coyle lost the header at the edge of the box there, pulled back. Oh, it's a great finish, to be fair.
Yeah, so
you there yet?
Coming over his shoulder there. Didn't see him. Coughlin, great strike. What a strike that is. Can Mark Anthony have done better with that? He's hit it so well.
That's it. He's got some power behind that, hasn't he? We'll see the replay hopefully now, but great strike.
Yeah.
Harps probably could have done better though. That there's a few phases of play before that wasn't great.
Yeah, Coyle's kind of maybe a judge that he probably hasn't seen the guy just come to his blind side and he's just kind of knocked it off his toe.
The replays are a shambles. The replays are an actual shambles.
Yeah. Oh look, we just see it hitting off the crossbar there in the back of the net. Wow. They don't give you much to go on there, do they really? But it's a great finish. I saw it real time there. He's turned and hit it, and it's a fantastic shot.
It looked like a rocket again. Without, again, you need to see the replay. But I'm going to give Mark Anthony the benefit of the doubt there, and it would look like a rocket. The only thing you would say, it looked like it was at his near post, but disappointing. Because as I say, Cowan, I don't know what your overall assessment of it has been so far, but felt Harps were well in the game and doing reasonably well.
Yeah, to be fair, they had those, they had that shout for the penalty that we didn't really see, but a few people on here say it was a Stonewall pen. The chance where Wallaby's got into the box and he's just had a square to Foley, but the defenders cut it out. It's another good chance. Ethan Boyle's strike, again, you would expect the keeper to save it, which he does, but again, there's chances there to be had. And
Wallaby had a good chance as well from a header as well from that corner that the penalty incident. The penalty claims had come from. It was a decent. He found himself free in the box. So now they've had their fair share of chances, if you've highlighted there, Cowan. But that's a poor enough goal to concede. Like, it's a good strike, but there's definitely opportunities to cut it out.
Because I think this is the game. Like, you can see now already, Pats are starting to knock about now. Pats, they're already just, although Forrest's put a ball in there, put a ball cut out by Siddiqui.
No, I think what you're saying is now, obviously, Harps have to come out a little bit, and that's when Pats are at their most dangerous, where they can pick you off, isn't it?
Yeah. There's another poor ball from Paddy Barrett, just back from America.
I'll tell you what annoys me is playing arguably one of the best strikers in the league, sort of wide right, and quite isolated.
Yeah,
I'd rather see Foley through the middle, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I suppose that's the honesty of the player too, as well. He's always gonna, and always puts in a good shift, and always manages almost to get a goal. But he seems to be moved in more central than when the sub that they're usually making.
That's it. And he normally scores then.
Yeah, very much so. So that's somewhere.
I think Tunde could do that job wide right. He's a runner. He's busy. He's athletic. He likes to get about, and maybe have Foley maybe has that bit more craft, where I think his link-up play is better than Oluwabi. So I think a lot of stuff's going up to Oluwabi, and it's not sticking. And yourself, there's nothing more frustrating than when you are trying to get out, the ball's not sticking. Foley has a little bit more nous, I would say, about him, and maybe Tunde would be more effective for direct balls in behind. But I don't know what anyone watching thinks of that. I would definitely rather see Foley through the middle and maybe Oluwabi out wide right. But
I just suppose even in terms of the link-up play as well, there, like Barry McNamee and Foley have linked up so well this season. I think it's Barry almost at times. He's like, when he lifts his head and he sees Foley, he's like, I'm going to give it. I'm going to wrap the ball in there.
100%.
He looks up and sees Oluwabi. Sometimes I don't think he's so sure, because I think it's more of his directness, and he's just going to try and roll the defender and maybe try and get a shot on goal. Is where Foley will try and maybe bounce it back, or he'll try and find someone else that type of way. So he sees it. Barry sees it more of an economical pass, maybe. So
I think you're 100% spot on, because the strengths Oluwabi has is that just aggression, physicality, raw pace, like real nightmare. Like, as a centre half, you'd hate to play against them because of that. But as you say, I definitely agree with you there. I think Foley's got that little bit more quality in terms of holding the ball up, and I think McNamee definitely trusts him, and he'll wrap those passes into his feet. I just feel that Foley he's quite isolated out there at times, and it doesn't really impact the game. So
he probably would have been a better striker for Harps maybe 3 or 4 years ago, when he used to hit long balls out to that right hand side for flick-ons and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
straight from the kick out.
Straight from the goal kicks or any free kicks, in that area, get it out wide, get flick-ons, and then just play off those. But
out the Fonste coming in off the line, one of those headers. That was it all about.
100%. But now the way that Harps are playing, they're more, they are playing through the lines, and they are, playing a better brand of football, and again, I think, just I suppose going back to the point you're making, I think Foley will be more effective up through the middle.
Yeah. Any comments you want to pick up there on Cowan? Is there anyone's come in there?
Let me see. What have we got? Who have we got? Let me see. Darren McNulty says, sounds like another Harps game, conceded a goal from nothing. So they've had their chances, but it seemed like, it was a well-taken goal. I think there was a real moment of quality. I think we have to give a bit of credit to the striker there, that he's actually done really well and pulled the trigger. And, Harris maybe, look, I'm sure you can pick holes in it and say you should have been tighter or shouldn't have maybe lost the ball in that area. But
that's a good finish.
I think it's a great finish. In fairness, what have we got? Denise is out here. Green Mark put Oluwabi out wide. He has pace and he's not a natural finisher. Yeah, fair enough. Tony McNamee's in here. Foley should be in the middle with Barry behind him. Difference between teams at the minute. Harps get 6-7 chances to score one. Yeah, fair enough. That's kind of always been the case with Mike. What I can remember, you always needed a lot of chances to score a goal, and you just tend to maybe give them away a bit easier than that there. Dahi reckons a touch of Christy Breen about Old Abbey. Let's elaborate. Although I think we all know what you're talking about.
You're going to need to definitely elaborate a little bit more on that. Well, Breen was quick. Who was faster? I'd say Breen was a flying machine, but I think what Ramsey's trying to say is Breen was a flying machine we couldn't finish, but Breen was a decent finisher now. I thought he was,
Yeah, well, I definitely would have thought Chrissy knew where the back of the net was for sure. Now he wouldn't need 6 or 7 chances to score one, but he definitely need 3 or 4. You know, I think it's fair enough to say that.
I suppose when you play beside McHugh, it's hard because McHugh would nearly take every single chance that fell him, where maybe Chrissy needed 3, so it was probably hard enough. And then he played with Connor Gettins as well, who was a lethal finisher. So I do not know even Slenton. Sorry, Chief, carry on there.
No, I'm just a wee bit of commentary here, Chief. I thought we were going Pat's just a free kick on the edge of the box here. Look like they're going to cross it. Although it's kind of similar. Ollie's picked up a yellow there.
That's surprising. Ollie getting booked. My God.
Yeah.
Those officials are a disgrace.
Can't tell you. They pick on him for nothing.
No, he's a nice guy. Very open. He doesn't open his mouth.
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah, so free kick here, kind of the similar area that Conor Barry hit one that earlier on in the game.
Oh, it's dreadful.
Are you watching it there, Chief? Are you?
Yeah, I'm a few seconds ahead. I need to shut up and let you do it.
Yeah, into the wall.
Straight in.
Didn't get past Barry McNamee in the wall. The massive unit.
How raging you there as a centre half, Karen. You're after running 40 yards to trying to get on the end of a set piece, and a midfielder just buries it into the wall. Like, you must be ready to.
Not great. Didn't even look. It's not even like it's hit the guy in the wall in the head. It's hit him on the knee. So that's worse again. Like, you know, no chance.
Yeah.
Blocks. Ollie's picked up. As Smith said there, Ollie's picked up his obligatory yellow card for the night. He gets more cards than a children's Christmas party or children's birthday party. Sorry, Ollie's shot 10. Yeah, fair shout.
And Galler's looking for us to put the St. Pat's Fan Harps game live now. I don't know. Now we're not the League of Ireland TV here, and we're just doing a watch along. We've got it on their laptop here, so
you could just turn your laptop around, Chief. Yeah.
Ball
back. McGinley's potted away there. Is that the halftime?
Halftime.
Yeah, halftime. Yeah, halftime. 1-0 Pats.
What's the verdict then, Karen? Come on, give us your summary of the first half. Geez, your man just seen off camera. Ethan Boyle is going bananas, and Oluwabi's chatting to the ref as well. So obviously we didn't see. Ollie's on the pitch here. He's going nuts at the ref. So it must have been a stonewall penalty. I know some of the comments that come in say it was a stonewall penalty, and going by Ollie's reaction and some of the players, it must have been a penalty. But Ollie's going to get himself in trouble here again.
Yeah, he's out. He's remonstrating with the linesman. He's looking to speak to the referee. Referee doesn't want to speak to him. I can understand that. Look, you can't be going out in the pitch at halftime and, you know, having to go with the referee at that there with the record that you have of poor discipline. You know what I mean? Like,
you need to be clever there. Send Hegarty in or send one of the other backroom team and speak to the ref to find out what they say, because him marching on, as you say, Cowan, it just doesn't play well. Like.
And he's already on a yellow. He's already picked up a yellow card. You know, so but maybe we're being too harsh. Maybe he's gone on there and he's tried to get, you know, a few of the players that were there, but he's definitely you know, had a word with. I
think though, with Ollie, it's not a case of it's. Like, as you say, challenge the decisions and go and speak to the officials. But marching on the pitch when you're on a yellow, you know, they're just going to flash another one and say, "Oh, sure, it's Ollie again." Like, they're not even going to have to explain themselves to the, you know, match officiator or whatever, or the referee assessor that comes to watch them. They're just going to know, well, that's what Ollie does. So I agree with what you're saying in terms of he needs to be a little bit cleverer about it, even do it away from the cameras and try and go into the referee's room at half time. But They're not happy.
Obviously, look, disappointing from a Harps perspective if you're not going to be getting which seems to be a so what. Like the fact that you've seen the players so frustrated there at the end, makes you think, well, thanks to LOI TV, we weren't able to get a proper look at it, so.
We didn't get a proper look at the goal either. All I seen was a head off the bar in the replay.
Yeah, that was it. It was in the back of the net. So yeah, we didn't get much of a replay there either. But look, disappointing that, as I say, we spoke about the chances Harps have had in the first half. They're well in the game.
Yeah, well.
So look, big. Hopefully, second half, big push. I think sometimes things like that there can almost galvanize a team. When you feel that you've been hard done by, and you feel that everybody's against you here, and you're coming to Inchicore, you're up in Dublin, and those lads aren't going to give us nothing. So hopefully that might spur them on a bit, and they'd be able to do something better in the second half.
Yeah, as you say, harness that energy in a positive way. But I think, as you say, you're spot on there really in your assessment. Harps have been well in the game. They've done well. I think Rainey's done well. He's come in there. They've looked comfortable enough. I don't think Pats have had a lot of possession at times, but they haven't really hurt us. McGinley hasn't had much to do. So I think everyone's agreeing with us too.
Yeah, that's the goal. We're going to see the goal on screen here now. Yeah, so Mark Coy kind of loses it there. The guy's come over his shoulder, but Coughlin's done really well in the box there. You can criticize the defenders, but that's a good goal. I think he's just done. If we can just see it here now, so this, it's clipped down the side, and then so it's headed away. Mark, he needs to hook that straight away.
He's got to hook it. To be fair, he has.
He's just done really well in the box. He's just showed great feet. Coughlin has, and he's
See, from a defensive perspective, there though, Cowan, is there not enough bodies when the ball's dragged back to him? There must be 4 Harps. There's Barry there nearest him. There's, I think it's Rainey coming to close him where he's facing towards his own goal.
Yeah,
just play it on there for a second.
Yeah, no, from a Harps perspective, he's just done really well. I think Rainey maybe kind of gets the wrong side. I think he kind of comes to the right hand side where maybe Barry already is, and then gives Coughlin the space to move into to get a shot away. And I suppose too, you're conscious of not touching him in the box either, and diving in so there's probably that little bit of hesitance. He takes a great first touch. Yeah.
To be fair, to give him the benefit of the doubt, that's a great bit of skill. If Harps score that up the other end, we're raving about it.
Yeah, no, it's a great goal. It's a great finish. Fair play to him. And again, look, we're saying Rainey should have done this, Rainey should have done that. It's his first game. It's his first start of the season.
And he's done well. I think he's been excellent in possession, and he has not looked like a player that's his first start at this level. And he hasn't. This is first start in 8 months or whatever since he signed for Harps. So quality stuff from him. So we'll see if we can get the penalty call up. But there's a. Jesus, they had no chance to defend that goal. Kevin Lowther. To be fair, you can't really touch.
No.
Cowan, better.
We can say he could have done this. He should have done that. He did. You know what I mean?
You gotta give credit to Coughlin there. It's a wonderful goal. The only thing I would say, and you touched on it, was Coyle is a little bit hesitant where he thinks he's got more time, and the Pats player nips in ahead of him, and they go down the line. So
yeah, definitely. That's probably the one where they'll be most disappointed about, where he hasn't. Maybe he hasn't got a shout. Maybe surely there.
I think it looks like one of those where he thinks he's more time, and he's looking to get a good hook on it, and the guys nipped in. Colin O'Donnell, to be fair, St. Pat's are tough to beat at Richmond. They're going well. Harps are 7-1 at kickoff. 14% chance of winning. Just Moneyball stats from Colin O'Donnell there. Good man. Oh, this is a penalty chance here.
Oh, that's a penalty. That is a penalty. That's a stolen wall penalty. Good shot. That's a stolen wall penalty. Wow.
That's a stone waller. Wow. That's a stone waller.
Wow. That's
not even close. That is, he clearly gets a touch and the keeper takes him.
I can't believe that. I cannot believe that.
That is scandalous.
Just you could say that. Well, you can't even say it. I think the only thing I'm thinking, he'd say, "Look, you've taken a touch and you've knocked it out for a corner. You know what I mean? You've had the last. So it's not even a corner then, really, is it? because he's
it's not a corner. The keeper doesn't
touch
touch it.
Right? Yeah, that is that's a disgrace, isn't it? That is absolute disgrace.
That is D. O'Neill's made the point as well. I don't think it's a red card. If you give a penalty, isn't that the rule now? If you give a penalty, like if a keeper fouls you and you give a penalty, you can't send him off and give a penalty. You can only do one or the other, I think. But
yeah, I think you might be right there. Yeah. No, that's
a stone waller. No harm, as you say. It's hard enough going to places like Pats and Daily Mount and Tala. That's 0-0. That's a massive.
Yeah,
and we know how good Harps are as well. When we do get a goal, we do go a goal up.
Yeah, Ann Kelly says I'm going mad myself. It was an out-and-out penalty. No wonder Ollie's going mad, and you kind of have to start to say that as well. No wonder that no wonder he's so frustrated.
That's a stone waller, Chief. Like, it's not even close. Like,
yeah, very disappointed. Very disappointing.
Absolutely. See the linesman there, to be fair, right? Do you not think the linesman needs to help the referee out there? The linesman's directly in line with it. Like, how has he not seen it? Whatever about the referee being a fair bit away from it. Jesus.
Yeah, no.
Rob Harvey's reffing. Kieran McGrath just came in asking who's reffing. He said, I think Emmett Grubb said Rob Harvey's the man in the middle.
Yeah, I thought it looked like Harvey. Okay. Again,
what's your view on Harvey? I know you're quite critical of the rest of the league. I don't think you've said one of them's been good. Oh yeah, that's Harvey for you. Oh, that's Harvey.
Right, like you know what I mean. Like, again, I'm not going to say that just all refs are terrible and that, but like that's a penalty. But how he gives a corner? So. Like, surely he doesn't go to the linesman then and says, well, is it a corner? Like, the linesman has to see that Tony kicked the ball out. He's had the last touch.
That's what I don't understand. What's the linesman seeing? Like, what? Like,
yeah.
You think they're all hooked up, they can communicate with each other, and it just doesn't. It's just, in fairness, we were giving Ollie a bit of criticism there for that reaction, but you can understand, like, that just drives you insane, because that's not even... up for debate. Like, it's a stone waller. It's horrible defending from the big Pat centre half. Yeah. I don't know who that is that gets caught under the high ball, but
they have Lee Desmond is in there, and Paddy Barrett. So I'm not sure which one of them it was.
I don't think it was Barrett. I think it might have been Desmond. But yeah, if anyone's I think there's a few that's joined Bosch, Kieran McGrath, and a few others. So if you just want to play that penalty incident again, if you can, get it back up for people. Just have a quick look at it. But,
great to see people's comments coming in there. If you're watching and you haven't made a comment, throw us a comment. We want to hear everyone's point of view, So so keep those comments flying in. We've seen a couple of new people here tonight as well, so that's great. So sometimes you might be sitting there, you might be thinking something. You might be thinking Chiefs comments are miles off it. Get on there and give him a bit. And he's definitely
come for me.
He's definitely recharged after our couple of weeks off. So
you're a disgrace, Bill. You're a disgrace, Bill. That's your Bill. You're a disgrace.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and listen to Keith Carn eulogize about his time at Glentoran. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace, Bill.
Let me see. Kieran McGrath said Harvey sent off two boys off and Ollie and Sligo last season. So yeah, he definitely isn't a fan of Harps. That's for sure.
Coylan Siddiqui it was, McGrath said. Coylan Siddiqui got sent off.
That was Barrett.
There's a penalty incident again.
That was Barrett, Chief.
Was it Barrett? Was it? He was in Waterford before, wasn't he? And Dundalk.
Yeah, Waterford and Dundalk, and then he was in Cincinnati. He was in America then for a couple of seasons. Played over there. Played in the US.
I think Barrett tries to have a nibble at him as well, because Barrett realizes, I've made a horrendous mistake here. And Barrett tries to have a wee nibble. And look there, Bosch has got it bang on there. Tunde does everything right, takes it away from him and just expecting the challenge, and it's a Stonewall penalty, and at 0-0 as well. What was that? 32 minutes in the clock, 5 minutes before they scored.
Yeah, no, we've actually, Tunde's done really well. It's really well.
He has done well, because it's a nothing ball, and he's just gambled that he's going to make a mistake on it.
Yeah, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Daniel Chambers thinks so as well. Ridiculous decision. Any wonder Ollie's got his yellow? Well, obviously, Ollie's not really too good at hiding his feelings, so he will, he's a reactive manager, and unfortunately, sometimes he gets him in trouble, and it's fucking has a game tonight. Hopefully, he'll be settled down now. He gets his half-time cup and a few jelly babies in him. Get relaxed. Let me see. Yeah, Paddy Barrett was. Yeah, you're right. Tony McNamee, McGowan was the best ever, 100%. Tunde Ray McGinty says Tunde was clear out of it. Yeah, I think I'm 100% right there. Yeah, look, it's a shocking decision. I think, unfortunately, this whole halftime has just been talked about. Look, well, the quality of the Pats goal, yes. But then, look, there you go, let down.
Top class work from Bosch as well, because the League of Ireland TV didn't even supply us with replays, but Bosch is getting them up for us, so good man, Bosch.
Yeah, all over it as usual.
Get you away with the shenanigans you're out at the weekend.
Yeah, never mind the different. Let me see. Yeah, so that's us. Maybe a quick break.
A quick wee 5-minute break there. Oisín, DJ Bosch can plug one of his songs again. He loves a bit of shameless marketing, DJ Bosch. So, hey, we'll take a wee 5-minute break and we'll come on for the second half.
100%, Chief. Yeah, look forward to it. See you in a bit.
Shamrock Rovers this early, I suppose, half chance, which was really just the goalkeeper clearing it off his own play. That should have been a corner kick. It actually was given as a goal kick in the end.
Yeah, again, Ireland sets it back and then Rory's the one running beyond. I thought he'd done that really, really well in the first half.
Goalkeeper had a nervous moment there as his clearance went off Siddiqui.
We could see it happening where he went and stopped and then went again, and that just indecision just allowed Gaffney to put enough pressure on, and then again indecision, and Gaffney goes all the way, puts pressure on, does great, nicks the ball. Keeper's obviously coming out to help and he's never getting back, and it's brilliant play from Rory Gaffney. And he's
probably the only mistake that Siddiqui made in the game as well.
One or two. That's what Gaffney does. I played against Rory when I was here, and he gave me an awful time when I played for Shamrock Rovers, because he's willing to run in behind you. He's actually good at holding up the ball, which you said as well. So he causes trouble. This is Finn Harps going again. They freed up McNamee to play off the front. He does well. He gets seconds. It's a wonderful ball down the sides.
Alan Manus will be disappointed with that one.
Do you know what? Knowing Alan, and you can see from his reaction, he's very disappointed, because he hasn't given him an angle there. You know, when you saw him save one in the first half where he bends his knee and blocks it, see it, and he doesn't do that. He done it here in the first half for the first chance in the first 2 minutes, and he's obviously a little bit disappointed in it.
And they had this threat. You know, Olabi's pace was causing the Rovers' defence one or two problems.
Yeah, look, we mentioned at the time, he has the ability to get his team up the pitch, and sometimes it's by design, and other times it's he's battling through and forcing mistakes. He backed into the defenders a lot. He unsettled them a little bit in the second half. Again, he probably just went a little bit more direct to him. Late on
in the game, Rovers coming looking for that all-important winner. Gary O'Neill, bit unfortunate there.
And that's... If obviously people are watching at home and you know how Shamrock Rovers play, they'll deepen you with their wing backs and they'll deepen with your inside players, and then they're looking for cutbacks. They're looking for cutbacks and strikes from the edge of the box, and that's where, in credit to Finn Harps, they threw themselves in the way of a lot of it. Some of them they were lucky with, some Rovers were unlucky with.
It was a shout for the penalty kick there, but I think the referee had a good view of it.
Yeah, I think Webster just gambles the wrong side of Gaffney, and then Gaffney rolls him. That's what I'm saying.
We're back on, are we?
Are we live?
I think so.
We
are.
We're live, good to go. Yeah, so you just see a few of you having a chat amongst yourselves there on the chat that we have here. So that's good to see as well. You can converse amongst yourselves, but ultimately get the shouts into us. Get what you're thinking on the game, your thoughts so far. Obviously, we talked there before about the way that or the manner in which Pats took the lead. Great goal from Coughlin. He showed great away brilliantly, and then we were so obviously disappointed at the manner in which Harps didn't get a penalty, which was look, it was terrible. So that's a shocking decision. We're terrible. We can't really see past it at the moment, and we can see why Ollie was why Ollie was raging, and why Ethan Boyle was pretty, had to be held back by a few players there as well on the way into the changing room.
Yeah, I was furious, and you can understand it 100%. Kind of like it, as we say, there's nothing worse. Yeah, loads of comments there when we took a bit of a break there. What changes do you think we should make? Probably wouldn't be. There's no real need to change things at the minute. Because I think we're well in the game, we're doing quite well, but. Is O'Sullivan on the bench? Somebody's asked.
Did you mention
he's suspended? So Sullivan's not an option.
Not there tonight. But yeah, I don't think there's any mad sort of rush there.
No need for now anyway. But again, be interesting to see what he does do if he does change it. So
yeah. So Pat's just in control at the minute here. Early stages.
Yeah, comfortable side, but as we talked about, Harps well in the game, and a couple of good chances outside of the penalty decision. But as you say, it's a dangerous game now, Cowan, isn't it? I'd say Ollie's probably saying, look, stay in the game. We don't need to score in the next 15, 20 minutes, stay in the game. And then, quite naturally then, maybe with 20 to go, they might just sit that little bit deeper and hold on to what they have. And that might play into Harps's hands. But I'd say Pats will have a right go here now, trying to get the second for the first 20 or so of the second half. So it'll be interesting to see.
Well, that's it. Yeah, as you said, Chief, stay in the game. Like a point here is a great result. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
A point, man. The last time Harps won here was like 2016 or something like that. I think I remember a Monday night game with a 2-1 win. But I think before that it might have been 2001 was the last win there. The last time they got.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough place to go. But
like Harps, Pats have always have good sides. Always have great sides. All very comfortable on the ball. Can play and. Create chances. Always had good strikers. Like so, here's Old Abbey driving it back for you, done really well. Check back, looking for a free kick. Go on, Mark.
Go on, Coy.
Oh, good tackle there, and there's a box. Ooh, what's points? I thought maybe nearly. And he's horrible. A free kick there.
It was good play there from Olawabi, wasn't it? Like he picked it up. When he opens his leg, he's a hard man to stop.
He drove at them. He's very direct there.
Yeah. And used the ball well then after it as well.
Yeah, Mark Coyle picked up the scraps then, and had a go as well. A good tackle, nails the box from one of the Pats defenders. So it's back on McGinley. He's clipped it into the middle of the field. Good flick on from Foley. Seems to be more central there now. So he does.
Yeah, it seems that. Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah,
you want to see him. You wouldn't even. Hey, you could play two up top as well, couldn't you? You could change formation slightly. And
they seem to have done that because Connor Barry seems to be on the right. Barry seems to be more to the left. So I don't know if they gone with a front three or front two.
I think they could have gone with a front two. Foley's over this side now. And something you'd like to see. I think anytime Harps have gone to two, they just look a lot. a lot more dangerous, because there is times, as good as Oluwabi does through the middle, he's going to get booked here, is he?
He's gone to ground here now. He's picked
on
up
the ground. Looks like so.
Yeah, I think he was I thought he was looking for a penalty if he took a slap to the face, or he's maybe running to one of the Pat's centre halves there. I thought it looked like he was looking for something. He's kind of clipped it over his head and ran into him and maybe looked for a penalty, essentially. But
yeah,
Rob isn't too interested in giving penalties to
Harps.
So.
Hey, you never know though. If there's another contentious one, he might look to.
Well, even it up, he might think.
Yeah, he might.
Rarely, you sometimes you hear about that there when he has to, maybe he owes them one, he owes them something. Maybe he'll give them another corner. That'd be nice to maybe for not getting a penalty. Well, maybe Rob Harvey will give us another corner, and that'll do.
We're good. We're good from set pieces, so I hopefully he gives us another corner. But not decent start from Harps second half. But as you say, Karen, if we are right, I kind of say to you, the important thing is to stay in the game, because if you were to concede a second, it'd be a long way back, and the chances of you getting a result are gone. Like, whereas if you know yourself, we've always said it, you're always in the game at 1-0, and
100%.
I think that's what Harps will be doing. They'll not go gung ho.
No. Well, I say they seem to move. They seem to have moved fully to the centre.
They've gone 2 up.
Yeah, very much so. So it could be like a 4-4-2 actually here.
I think that's what he's gone. He's gone Seymour right full. It's Eaton Boyd left, and then McElhaney, Siddiqui, and then it must be Rainey and Coy in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Connor Barry in the right, Barry McNamee in the left, and then Foley and Tunde. So yeah, positive changes there.
So Foley again, good flick on. Connor Barry didn't get
well
done.
Pressure.
So they're talking about maybe Boyd being the first sub. Chief, what do you think? Who do you see? Obviously, we said, look, we don't need to make any rash substitutions here now. So there's not somebody on. It's only 10 minutes. It's only not even 10 minutes. 8 minutes into the second half here.
Yeah.
But you look at subs. You look at Harps bench. Who you see as someone that could come on and essentially change the game.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think, without being too critical of Boyd, I would bring him on for the simple reason that I think you've got to keep Foley on the pitch. Because of his goal scoring ability, he has to stay on. And to be fair, Tunde, he's got so much energy, and he is such a handful, and he'll continue to chase balls down. Yeah. I think it's a good balance between Foley and Tunde, where I think if you've got Boyd up there, you can go direct him, and Foley beside him, but there's not a huge amount, I suppose, of mobility between them. So if I was looking at change, Chief, to answer your question, probably maybe a Tony McNamee, someone maybe in there that can unlock a defence, has that little bit of quality. You can see that pass. He might be a good option, maybe to come in for Connor Barry or someone like that. That would be the change I'd be looking for. I think Foley and Tunde, I would keep them on the pitch, to be honest. But who are you looking at? Is there anyone else maybe jumping out at you that you think could come on and have an impact?
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking at the likes of I think you're spot on maybe with a Tony. Obviously, look, we know his strengths. As a footballer, very very good technique. He can find a pass, gives you everything that way. Obviously, we know he's got a great set piece as well, which could be an option later on in the game. With his throw in, usually Webster is that option as well. But obviously he's not on tonight. I think Ethan Boyle might have one as well. Other than that, there you have Conley, maybe Ryan Conley, who's been out for the best part of the season, really. So I know he'll be.
Is Conley on the bench?
Well, I've got a list of subs here now, just on the app, and it's sort of giving me Conley, but maybe I saw him walking on the steps there. Actually, now you mention it, at halftime with full tracksuit on.
That's where I seen him, and then I didn't know if it did look like he wasn't stripped, but it's hard to know sometimes.
Yeah, and saw Big Four in there as well, so he looked to have the same attire on him. So I know he doesn't seem to be in the squad list that I have now. So not that I'd be looking to bring him on, but yeah, I suppose you are quite restricted. Yes, Boyd is an option, on his day. Boyd is, I've seen him in action. I've played against him, and thought he was going to be a great player. He came to our Harps, struggled to get going, a couple of goals, and then he's had that.
Was it an attitude problem, Cowan, or was it just the fact that he was maybe, didn't want to leave Shamrock Rovers? Sometimes players can go out on loan and might not necessarily want to go on loan. What was your opinion from being in the dressing room at that stage? Because I know you've told me before he's got a lot of good attributes, but it just didn't happen for him.
Yeah, I think maybe he did he want to leave Shamrock Rovers and come to Finn Harps? Probably not. A young lad who was maybe did I think that he would maybe want to take that step down, that he would have thought it was, and then come here and work hard and do really well for Harps? No, that was evident that wasn't going to be the way fairly early on. But then, once you maybe he picked up that injury and he see, there wasn't too many clubs, knocking the door down to get him, I wouldn't think. So he's seen his opportunity now at Harps, and look, I can't fault his work with any time that he's played for Harps now in the last couple of games, or even this season. He's seen to try hard. Things aren't coming off for him. That's just
no, they're not. I thought I actually thought he done really well against Longford that night. I'll probably get hammered for saying it, but I actually thought he done well. But a couple of great chances.
That's your opinion. That's what we look for here. It's all about the opinions. Someone else might tell us different, but I just think that he's come back from a really serious injury too, and he's going to need that time. And
100%, yeah. And you know how long, Cowan, from having knee injuries, the rehab and that, and it takes a long time. It definitely does. And if you're a player in his position as well, where there's pressure on you, it's not just a case of coming back in and playing well in the team. There's pressure on you to score goals when you're playing in that area of the pitch, and that's what he's ultimately judged on. And yeah, I think that's a very good point to make too. But when you do come back from a serious injury, I think you do need that little bit more time. But boss, just get the subs up there again. Just have a look. There was see the options. I think you had Connolly there, so Connolly must be there's the bench. Nicholas, Connolly, Dunleavy, Bradley Walsh. Bradley Walsh, is that not the fella that presents the chase?
Coronation Street.
Black, Logue, Rudden, McNamee, Boyd. Yeah, McNamee and Boyd are probably the two that jump out at you. And as you say, maybe if they wanted to throw Conley on to maybe try and get a grip on midfield, but they're doing well. Harps, they're doing quite well. As we say, there's no need to drastically change things here. Well in the game.
Well, in the game, Pat's just driving at the Harps defence here in the Coffin's feet. He tries to switch it. There is a tackle on Marcoy, but he seems to ride it well. He's found Foley. Foley's done really well. Good turn by Foley there.
That's what we were chatting about there in the first half, that Foley brings you that Tunde doesn't. That a real bit of quality. He's Cruyff turned it and he switched the play. That's what you want. That's what you want from your striker when he's playing in that central position. That bit of quality to link people up.
Yeah, and then he switched to Olabi. I know Olabi's tried to beat a couple of men. He doesn't really have that for me. He is that he is a striker that should play on the shoulder, and if he can roll a defender,
100%. He should be looking there. He should make a run in behind the fullback and look for Foley to put him in directly, as opposed to giving it to his feet and standing up a fullback and trying to take him on. Because as you say, I don't think he's got that little bit of craft to get past someone. But Foley, illustrating the point we were making there in the first half about that's the quality that he gives you when he plays through the middle.
A change coming.
Here for Pats.
Yeah, for Pats, yeah.
Georgie Kelly scored again. Just seen the comments coming in. Georgie with another tonight. That's 11 for the season. That'll, Bows, Shamrock Rovers are massive games, so that'll lend himself well to the fans up there.
That's a great return there, Chief, because I remember actually we spoke about Georgie Kelly at the start of the season, how he hadn't really found his form yet, so that's, delighted to hear that. And fair play to Fair play to Georgie for
11 goals, some return it this season too. I know he picked up 4 of them there, or he's got 5 in the last 2 games. But no, as you say, Cowan, we were kind of questioning where we were kind of saying the move's got to work for Georgie Kelly. Because he's bounced about a few clubs, but he's definitely taken his opportunity at Bowes, and fair play to him.
That's Pat's 2 up that we've just been informed as well. Robbie Benson. Oh, he's done really well.
Jesus. Benson's a top player.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's going to be a long half hour now.
That's it.
Let's have a look at this again.
Coughlin's given too much time. Coughlin's played the ball. No one's got tight to him. He's able to turn and find that pass. He's able to slide it down the side of the defence to Benson there. You have to get tighter. You can't. We saw in the first half what can happen. When you let Coughlin turn, we aren't tight enough there, and they're just gonna
100% there. Like we were giving them, the benefit of the doubt that you had to be careful in the box, but as you say, he's given far too much time. It's very hard for McElhaney there as a centre half as well. I think it was McElhaney he cut inside then, but far too much time, Kurt.
Yeah. You have to get tighter there. There needs to be a bit more communication there from the back four to the boys up front than they have to get, especially because he's going to have stepped out there. Colin's going to start in and he's going to have stepped out, so he needs to be passed on. He needs to. The lads need, but look, sure, it's easy for me sitting here telling them what they need to do and what they should have done. But
look, you're someone who obviously you played in the Premier Division for Harps as well, so it's hard playing against these teams. We talked about penalty decisions going against you and that, but that's something that can be avoidable there really, because it's just get closer. Don't get
Ethan Boyd's done really well out the left hand side there, so he's chased down a kind of a nothing ball. And he's cut inside. He's actually he's nutmegged the right back, and then he's got a free kick for Harp. So it's a free kick.
Good opportunity here. Hopefully, Colin O'Donnell will probably be able to tell us what's happened for it, because he seems to be about a minute ahead of us.
Colin and Bosch they know exactly what's happening.
Block Colin O'Donnell. He's ruining all the excitement for us here. Decent ball in from Barry. What good header. No, you know what? We spoke about Ethan Boyle before the game. He's been excellent tonight.
Yeah, he really has. He had that chance earlier on. He's done really well there to win that free kick. He's been solid. Definitely been solid tonight. Yeah.
I think you'll always get that with him. There'll not be too many players that get the better of him, I think, defensively. But he's used the ball well, and he's been a threat going the other way as well. So, not fair play to him. Like he's done well. There's been some good performances. Like that's the frustrating thing. Yeah. I don't really feel it's like a 2-0 game where Pats are dominating, but that bit of quality again, But as you say, he's got to be closed down, especially someone where where he's dangerous. Don't let him get on the half turn.
Yeah.
And watch chance again for Bowsy.
Yeah. But then the good players always find that space, don't they, Chief? They always find that way extra yard, and it's that thing. Like they know exactly what they're going to do. With the ball, maybe a couple of seconds before anyone else does. So,
100%.
Always have
two comments coming in here. Dahi Ramsey says another year, and it's looking like another relegation battle. Pity, as the start of the season promised so much more.
That sounds terrible. Surely we're not that far. Well, you look at it. Waterford's actually winning tonight as well, so they're Longford,
and they obviously got picked up a one in Dundalk. Let me get the league table up there.
No, that sticks it down to. Well, they're still. What are they? Or 6 points behind.
It's not much. Not much in the league, is it? Like it isn't really a couple of results. Like
7 points. I think there's 7 points in it, maybe. So. I think.
So would you say they're not in a relegation battle? Would you say that he's probably a little bit premature and sort of saying no, we're in a relegation battle, or would you say that they're going to be looking?
When you're directly above the drop zone, I suppose you are you're very much, and it's only what is it? Will next week be the halfway point of the season? Would that be?
I think think you're right, Di.
So there's still a long way to go. There's still a lot of points to be had. Waterford got the manager in. Have started to play a bit better of late as well. So they're going to be the way Harps are going. Harps are on the slide. Unfortunately, we don't really want to say it, but they are, and
Ross's futsal makes a good point here, Cowan. I think it's something you've referenced before, and why we were optimistic for the season ahead was Harps have a lot better players now than they had in season before.
Across the Chief 3-0 there, 3-0. Colin again. Just sort of been picked apart here now. But looks of it at this stage, it seemed like a very.
Is it? We'll see the replay here. Again, was it poor defensively again, or was it just?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I think he's got in behind Ethan Boyle there. We were just praising very easily. Mark McGinley's come out, done really well, and people just stopped. Everyone's just switched off.
People stopped that. He's done even tracked on that.
So all
couple of subs here now.
Yeah, all Avi's coming off for Boyd, looks like. And Tony's coming on as well. Conor Barry seems to be making way for Tony McNamee. This is what, I'm not going to get carried away here now, but this is something that's kind of annoying me. So Tony hasn't got much game time, right? So, and I'm sure he's going to be asking questions come the midway point of the season, the transfer window. Look, you're not playing me. What's the story, right? So he's going to say, he'll be able to turn around and say, Tony, sure, didn't I play you against Pats? Didn't I bring you on for the best part of 25 minutes against against Pats? You know what I mean? Look, you have to make subs, and I'm not blaming. Look, we're saying, look, we want to get people on the pitch, and you want to think, but you know what I mean? You're 3 down.
It's a damage limitation exercise now. Do you know what I mean? The chances of him coming on and making an impact.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for him. It's going to be very difficult for him. But
of course it is, And yourself, Pats now, every single one of their players will want the ball. The pressure's off them. They'll be crying. They'll be sending boys for chips, and it'll be a long 20 minutes, So trying to get a hold of the match. So no, it's a good point you made, lad. But the point I was making as we conceded the third goal, and I think it's a good point from Ross's futsal. He was saying, Harps have better players than they have had another season, but he's saying they don't seem to be as well organised, and we're conceding really soft goals, and each area of the team seems to be very poor out of possession. It's probably a fair point, because we talked about the goals we've conceded from set pieces, which are just unheard of for Harps. So have we ignored that maybe solidity out of possession, and that's become our Achilles heel this season? Or what's your view on it from a defensive perspective, Cohen? Because you're better placed than me.
Yeah, look, I can remember talking back to when you played, and look, it's I don't like to bring my experiences too much, although maybe that's why I draw on them a lot when we talk on here.
Yeah, of course.
For me, when I was playing, at Harps, and it always meant so much to play, and it always meant so much to win a game, and just because it meant everything to you, because you were playing for your local club. And that's why you wanted. That's why you wanted. You wanted to win so badly. And I just suppose, when you do, you come off games, and you might have won, or you might have lost, or whatever. But you were fucking sore. Your body was on the line. You done everything. So I'm just maybe questioning a couple of the lads. Defensively, are they doing everything to try and to stop these goals, concede these set pieces? Are they thinking, I'm going to run through this guy here and make sure he doesn't score? Because if not, you're going to be in bad form for the rest of the weekend or the rest of the week, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So
fair point.
I'm not sure if I'm making my point that well, but basically what I'm trying to say is, if you grab somebody by the scruff of the neck or by the jersey or whatever, they generally don't score the goal. So I think
I think I know exactly what you're trying to say. The second and third goals were avoidable, and if you see in that position where you're going to have to defend a lot, especially away from home, are those lads putting their bodies on the line? It's probably a fair point. I don't know if they are. They're avoidable goals, and they're poor. We gave Coughlin the benefit of the doubt for the first one, but to go back to your point about playing for Harps too, I always felt like when I played for Harps, you were representing Donegal. I feel that it was, it's the equivalent of the Donegal GA team. It's the only soccer club in Donegal that plays, senior football in the League of Ireland. So you are representing the whole county. I think sometimes, unfortunately, with Harps, they're sort of branded as almost like being a Balbuffet club or something, and the surrounding areas, but they're not. Like that. That's what I felt when I played for Harps, that you're representing Donegal. But no, I think I agree with you what you're saying. I understand your point. Definitely do, in terms of got to put your body on the line, and it's just too easy. Like as you say, for the third count, they just stop.
Yeah,
they just stop.
Yeah.
McGinley's done okay, but the defenders have just stood in the line, and your man just ghosted in.
Yeah, no, it was. They'll not look back on that one. I'm sure that'll be played in the video session on Thursday night, and there'll be a few questions asked about what they were thinking there.
Also, like there again, there's an example again without playing the going over the top of it, Tony there, but there's a great little bit of play there between Barry, Tony, and back to Barry. He's whipped it into Foley. Foley's kept it, gone wide to Seymour. Like we've actually got a bit of control here in possession. Granted, Pats are probably happy letting Harps knocking about in the middle of the park because they're 3-0 up, but just shows you a bit of quality he has.
Yeah,
good bit of play there again. Go on.
Yeah, Foley's in behind.
Oh, Foley, yes! What a finish! What a finish! And you know what? As I said, the football before that was superb.
Yeah,
crossing each other with the ball, playing little triangles.
Yeah, I think McElhinney started that one off very well. Harps should have got a free kick there actually, so because Boyd was taking it out.
Does it go on to Boyd? Is it Boyd that sets it here? Who's that? Boyd. Lovely reset. Great ball from Barry.
There's that wee link up. There's that wee link up, Chief, that we talked about about Barry and Foley up front. Like he just seems to be able to play that way to pass so well. And like you give this man half a chance at the minute because that's not an easy finish. That's not an easy finish at all. It's very easy. I would have question marks over the Pats keeper. I don't even think he needs to come because the defender sort of with Foley, and it the goalkeeper makes up Foley's mind for him. But it's a great finish from Foley, man. You just fancy him, don't you? Anytime like he's in around the box, like it's just game on now, lad. Game on now. Yeah, when you get another one, you make it interesting, and obviously that'll have shook Pats a bit as well. They'll not have expected to be carved open like that, and they were very much carved open. Like, right, we've got one from Ronan Floyd here, Chief. You take that. You want to take that question there? I'll let you read it as well because it's quite a long one, and I don't think I'd be able to read all that.
Right.
Or do you want me to take it?
Right, lads. Can I ask the question that everyone wants to skirt around? Is it time to question Ollie's future? I'm not asking for him to go. I'm only asking is it time to discuss it. It seems like if you speak out, you are seen as a traitor amongst the Ollie loyalists. I don't care anymore. Everyone knows Paul as the manager anyway. Are we meant to be eternally grateful for the promotions? Tim Clancy and Dara Doyle managed it on an equally poor budget, but we go through this every point. I don't know if one of the Ollie loyalists got to him before he finished that. Before he finished that comment, he sort of stopped there mid-sentence. But look, broad question that we can maybe be better addressing at the end of the game. Just if that's something we want to maybe flesh out a bit broader, because
I do think it's a great question. To be fair to Ronan, in a way, I think.
I think it's a great question as well. I 100% do. So Ronan, we'll definitely talk about that, and we'll put it to people as well. And
we can take bits of that question, Chief. I think we can.
Right. You start then. Then, Chief, what do you reckon? Then, what's your overall view?
Look, it's a funny one because I think me and you might have spoke about this like we do everything. We probably spoke about this before at some stage. I think when we criticize, like, when are we allowed to criticize Harps and then not be like it be a bad word? You know what I mean? It's like it's like we started the season so well. It's kind of what we talked about earlier. We started the season really well, and why now have we not continued that form? Is that a players thing? Is that a management thing? We talked to we said that the quality is pretty much, we're talking about the same players here, maybe one or two that aren't there anymore, but you've still got that same group of players. So is Ollie doing something wrong where he he always seems to get players for a certain amount of time in terms of quality of them. You know what I mean?
Certain window with them, and there's a high turnover, really, isn't there?
Yeah, very much so. So in terms of but then at the same time, is it time for Ollie to go? I don't think so. No, I think in terms of sometimes it's better than the devil, if you want to put it that way. I still think that he's the man for the job. I wouldn't be. Sadiqi's got wrong side, sort of pulled Coughlin back there. But yeah, just as I was saying there, I still think he's the man for the job. But yeah,
I think though, Ronan's sort of main point of the question as well is, are we allowed to have that discussion? Is it fair to start moving away from the fact that, and that is that thing where you can't. Ollie's done an unbelievable job, which we all admit, but there is that thing where people refuse to allow him to be criticised, or like even after the Shamrock Rovers draw, I seen some comments on our own Facebook page, and that was it's a joke that people were saying this about Ollie. He done this, he done that, and I don't think anyone's taken that away. But Cowan, do you think it's fair to have the question and say, look, when are we going to start?
Absolutely. As football fans, and I think we're allowed to ask any question we want. We're allowed to have any conversation we want. I don't essentially want Ollie to get sacked over us having the conversation. You know what I mean? But the fact that we're creating this, our conversation might create a bit of doubt. Not our conversation, but people's conversations in general might create a bit of doubt. It's okay to have those conversations. That's what football's all about. It's all about opinions. All about opinions.
But that attitude does exist where it's almost, you can't question Ollie. What are you talking about? Are you mad?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It does. And that's silly. That's silly. I think, taken the right way, people understand that just because I'm saying something negative about Ollie, it doesn't mean I want to get the sack. It just means that as a football fan or as a Harps fan, I wish he would maybe think about doing this better. Not saying that my word is correct either, but I'm just saying that people should be able to have these conversations without getting slapped in the wrist by the so-called faithful up the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
100%. It's a great question. I think my point about it as well is I do think Ollie's done an unbelievable job, but the thing is about it as well, are we always just going to be keeping our head above water? Like, if you're being honest, there's a good bit of money floating about there at the minute in that current squad. Like, there's boys not back in the day where you're getting
just cutting across there, see a couple of subs. Barry's been taken off. He's picked up a knock. Sadiqi is also off. Bradley Walsh, I think, is on.
Bradley Walsh.
I'm not sure who else has come on.
Chris Tarrant came on along with Bradley Walsh. Two of them's on.
Chris Tarrant's up the left there. Who is that? Who is that? Come on. Can anybody put a bit of
help us out here?
Bradley Walsh, he does okay there. Doesn't like a wee shove that he's got for his trouble.
Good to see you now. Good to see another.
Yeah, a couple of young lads here
getting an opportunity as well. So good luck to the lad. Great to see.
Yeah, he's had a wee bite there. Forrester won't like that either.
No, good lad.
Showed him zero respect. Right, yes. Boot him up the hole. Give him a good boot.
Give him a good boot, right?
He won't fancy it then.
Who came on for Barry? Did you say? I know Bradley Walsh came on for Sadiqi. Who came on?
I'm trying to figure that out. Anyone else help us out on that one? Again, LITV, just let you guess. Nathan Logue. Cheers, Bosh. Yeah, Nathan Logue.
Nathan Logue. Good stuff.
Making his debut as Patsky on the attack here again. Foley back on the other. Other box.
Well done.
Better defensive work. So 10 minutes to go, 3-1.
Yeah, those 2 goals, sure. Absolutely knocked the stuffing out of them. It's been a decent look, to be fair. it's been decent response from Harps. Like, it was a very well worked goal, and it can be easy to drop their heads. I mean, if you were to nick another one, it's absolutely game on. Go on.
Didn't get there. Kept possession. Get it wide. Seymour's on the over.
Go on. Get in the box.
Come back to Coyle. Not much movement there. Harps are very deep there as well. I just saw that last time.
It was like, see, to be honest, they all went in the box expecting Seymour to clip it in there. Good ball there again. Go on.
Really gets it stuck under his foot. Let's get it away from him. So, come on, boy, you need to work a bit harder than that, mate. You need a cross there. Shane's, Well, another goal now, last 10. Make it interesting, at least.
Bosh is saying we get the game up for the last 10 on the screen. What do you reckon?
Yeah, throw it up.
Stick it up, Bosh.
We get shut down.
Yeah, that was a great question there. And
really good. Like, I think everyone has a. I suppose it's how far you want to take these, isn't it? Really, it's just like we're having 100%. A conversation. People can have a conversation,
Yeah.
But the idea that Higgsy picks the team, it's Higgsy's team anyway. What do you make of that, Chief?
I would have said that's not true.
Yeah.
I think Higgsy has a big say in things. He's a big character. He's a big personality. But I think Ollie absolutely picks the team, like 100%. James Gallagher worked under Ollie up there, and he's another big character, big personality. The manager's the manager, so I don't really think that's the case. Again, he's obviously he's number 2, so he's got a big say in things, like. But
yeah.
I think Ollie picks the team, but no, just in the overall point, I think with Ollie, I think he should be allowed to question things, because I do think there's a good bit of money being spent on that current squad, and that current squad shouldn't be third from bottom. It's not like the days where there's 50 euros flying around where boys getting €50 a week. Let's call a spade a spade. We can chat all we want. There's big investment going into the club. Is it as much as some of the top clubs in the league? No, it's not, but it's still significant. And I would be saying, again, you look at the start we had, it has tailed off. Why? Is it because the expectations are, my biggest gripe with Ollie is the fact that, I know he didn't do it this year, but most seasons he comes out and says, like, it's a miracle if we stay up. But you're like, that nearly takes pressure off you. If you tell someone, I'm the manager of this team, they're awful. Like, if we stay up, miracle, like. So then, if you do stay up, then people are like, well, he's pulled off another miracle. So you could say that it's quite clever in some ways that, you're not taking that pressure to say we can do better. And I think some Harps fans just, maybe want a little bit more ambition to say, yeah, we can be better, we can improve, we can do things. So it's a broad question. It's hard to. I think Ross's futsal makes a good point again. He said Ollie can put together a squad better than most other managers, but maybe other managers could get more out of them. A time will come when the coin has to be tossed and see if another path needs to be taken. So, a lot of good comments coming in. So I don't know what you make of that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair. Well, look, how long does a manager get? How long? Like, we've seen it through, like. Well, if we talk about, previous achievements, Columba Malloy makes a point here. It's again a great point. I'm going to read out here. The lack of respect for Ollie and his achievements are a disgrace. There is still a thing via perception. It's all potluck. I'll ask the question to all of you. Where do you think Harps should be finishing in the Premier Division? If you're unsure, take a look at the resources.
4-1 Harps, Chief. Sorry, you can finish the comment. But great finish. Ball over the top. You'll see it here again. Again, no pressure on the ball at all. It's a long diagonal ball.
Oh, he's just
there's massive gaps there in the back four. I know Harps are pushing, but look, great finish. But again, very goal. But finish your point or comment that Columbo said.
Yeah, okay. So if you're unsure, take a look at the resources and facilities. Both of our nearest neighbours would take it would take one wrong managerial appointment. It would take one wrong managerial appointment and Finn Harps would be back where they were, have been for the majority of the past 15, 20 years, the graveyard of the first division. So I don't know what you make of that, Chief.
Well, I think that sort of plays into Ronan's point about, it's quite a strong response from Columba, like saying it's a disgrace, the lack of respect. Nobody's having a lack of respect for him. I think everybody acknowledges he's done an incredible job. But there comes to a point where you can still question, right, can we do better? Like, if we can't do better and all we can do is just finish 8th in the Premier Division, what's the fucking point?
Yeah.
What is the point? Like, at the end of the day, I think you've got to come to the stage where we can't ask the question, can you do better? And if we can't, we can't. But I definitely think Columba, there's boys getting good money there. They're on good dough. As I say, it's not back in the day where there's €50 a week. There's investment in that squad. I think quite rightly we can ask the question of whether Harps can do better. And I think the investment was being made. They can do better. And I don't think your response is particularly helpful in terms of having a conversation about, Ollie. We're not saying, he's been arguably Harps' best ever manager. And you think of promotions and things that he's done. And he's done it on a shoestring budget. But now that there's a bit more money going in, surely as supporters you could say, well, can we do a little bit better? We've seen the start of the season. We've seen how we were able to compete. We're not playing in the Champions League where the gaps are massive. You have challenges, full-time teams versus part-time teams. We went to Shamrock Rovers, got a draw. They're brilliant. Yeah. But then we followed it up with a really inconsistent performance at Derry. We're now getting beat 4-1 against Pat. So I think it's fair to ask the question. That's all I'm saying, Columba. And I don't think, I'm certainly not, and I know Keith's not, saying, that we lack respect for him, but you should be allowed to question where are we going, because to be honest, surely there has to be an ambition to try and get into the top 4 or get into Europe. Otherwise I'd have to say, what's the point? Sport's about trying to compete and trying to improve, and if you just get stuck, then what's the point? So,
do you think is there an option where Ollie thinks that maybe I'm struggling here, do I need to get someone else in to help me? Do I need to get as my coaching staff, is everyone doing everything that they can? And that way, we put everything down to facilities and stuff like that. There, if you look at Derry, then Derry at the start of the season compared to Derry now, Derry have changed the manager. They haven't got any new players in that I'm aware of.
No, not that.
The difference between them at the start and the difference between them now. So you look at it from that perspective, then maybe a different manager could do something, better. But
I think you're going back to what your point as well. That happens. There's been a high turnover of players at Harps, which does make it in some ways harder to build something. And I think that might come from the fact too that the management style that we've seen from both playing under Ollie, it is quite unique. So. Some players maybe only have a life cycle of 2 or 3 years because they are quite demanding and it's tough going. So, I don't know. It's a tough one, but things can, the whole thing about, fresh voice. Now, no one's calling for Ollie to leave the job. All we're saying is we should be able to have a conversation without being sort of, this is a disgrace, this is wrong. Because as Keith says, football's about opinions. Columbus came back there. There's more money being spent relative to the past, but it's not more money than the 7 teams ahead of us. There's a big jump in finances to those teams. Well, we'll see. I think, to be fair, was it Folan bypass Sligo to come to Harps? So, I don't know if there's that big of a gap, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's huge. That's from what I'm hearing and from what I know, but.
So my screen there's just packed up, and it's probably for the better.
Is your phone gone?
No, I actually had it on the TV there as well. So I got this.
Yeah, well,
so you can watch that.
Osh had it up there on it, but.
Let me see. We've got a few more streams packed up. Bosch reckons the same. You still have yours, Chief, do you?
No, I lost my stream as well. Stream not found, so I'm just trying to refresh it. As you say, Chief, probably a good thing at 4-1. There's not long left.
Yeah, Kyle McCarron makes the point as well. 100%, you can question him, and I think that's all that we're doing. All we're doing is questioning. Because look, if we didn't do that, there'd be nothing on here to talk about. We have to question him. We have to, we have to try and figure out what he's thinking, or maybe is he doing the right thing with this? Is he doing the right thing with that? Again, we're not experts. We're just having the conversations, and in an environment where everyone's free to have a go and to say what they think. But
exactly.
I think I'm not, again, I have massive respect for Ollie for what he's done, for the teams that I've been a part of, and for the achievements, the things that we've done is absolutely massive. And I put all of it down to him, pretty much. The players that he's able to put together, it's all down to him. But now we're saying, if we're getting into an environment now, we've been a Premier League team now for the last 3 seasons. When do we, can we do something else? Can we put something else in place where, we're moving forward? That's all basically is what I'm asking. And I'm not saying that we haven't been moving forward, because we have, but to take it to the next level, we were able to beat teams, Dundalk, we were able to beat, Waterford, teams again with all these bigger budgets and stuff like that. They're able to beat Bows, and then we haven't won now. This will be 6. It'll be like 2 wins and 13 or something like that. Is that right, Chief? So
that's it, lad. 1 and 6. So. No, I just Look, it was a great question from Ronan. I think it was a very fair one, and I think you have to be able to allow to ask the question. Do you know what I mean? So. This will probably be tried to be spun in a different way that we're calling for Ollie's head, which we certainly are not. But definitely to ask the question. But the thing that's uncharacteristic for me about the current sort of form is the goals, is the sort of just poor. Like normally, it just we're harder. We're much more difficult to beat. Like we're getting a couple of clippings now. Like that's 4 down in Dalymount, 4 at Pats. And like the worrying thing is like neither of those teams have had to play that well. It's not been a case of like, whoa, wow, popped off the pitch. They were at it. We never started. We're well in the game at half time. We should have probably got a penalty, fair enough. We could feel sorry for ourselves that way. But it's 4-1, game's over after an hour. That's I think you maybe touched on it as well, maybe about players and maybe down in tools quicker than they used to. So it's a tough one. Stream's packed up.
Paddy Braun makes a point here. I'm sick of coming on here and seeing the same negativity week after week. We're a great wee club that serves the community enormously. You have to take the highs of the lows. Mark Falcon needs to remember where his loyalties lie. When he came home from Scotland without an arse in his pocket, it was Finn Harps that took him in. A man needs a reality check. Do you know this? Do you know Paddy?
I unfortunately do. I unfortunately do. I can't believe you've given him oxygen. Hey, by reading.
Well, I was wondering why you stepped over that landmine. I was going to highlight it just in case it, there's a bit of credibility in it. But if you think that,
look, you know what, Paddy's spot on. So he is. Stick it up. Hey, he's spot on. He's damn right. Came back with me tail between me legs, as they say, as a 19-year-old, thinking I was going to make it. And I was miles off. But sure, it's all good. It's all good crack. Any replacement of Ollie would, right from day one, see a massive reduction in man hours spent working for the club. There's not a man in the country who would put in the hours per week on Finn Harps than Ollie has weekly for 8 years. Again, Colum, but like you're making points that I totally agree, and there's nobody disputing that. Like all we're saying is just looking at it objectively, bigger picture. Yes, there's always the risk if you change manager that you'll be back in the first division. But like I'd ask you this, say for example Cork, who've had money troubles and that, would their fans swap those European nights, those FAI Cup wins, those league title successes for, years in the doldrums then in the first division or whatever? Like rather than just doing the same thing all the time. Like I know as a Harps fan I'd love, and I'm not saying we start biting off more than we can chew, but I would definitely love a couple of years of that, and then maybe if we had to spend another 5 or 6 years or longer in the first division, I'd take it rather than finishing 8th in the Premier Division every year, to be honest. That's my opinion of it, and Is Ollie the man to do that? He possibly could well be. He's brilliant at what he does. He's a great manager. But I do think possibly if you want to go to the next level, is there anything wrong with asking if somebody else is, energy levels as well. 8 years, tough going.
Yeah.
Does he have the same energy and enthusiasm for it? So we'll see.
D Spice that comes up here. By the way, folks, I think absolutely brilliant discussion here tonight. Really, really good. People putting in their views, people putting in their frustrations, people again having those opinions and wanting to get them out there. Look, this is a great opportunity for people to come on and to share their views. Great environment to do it. Again, it's all about opinions. It's all about opinion. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who knows? So no, great for people to come on here. We're delighted to get so many people involved tonight. Unfortunately,
but you say I'm always right. Can you say I'm always right? Everything I say, I'm always right.
Yeah, well, that's yeah.
Again, as I called it, I'm just seeing some more comments come on. Ollie's the man for the job, no question about it. Again,
yeah,
misinterpreting what we're saying.
Yeah.
Misinterpreting what we're saying. We're wasting our time even saying it now. Just go back. Don't question Ollie. Don't ever dare question it. Fucking suck it up. Deal with it. Take it on the chin. Man's a miracle worker. Every player at Harps is shite. So we shouldn't even be in the. We shouldn't be in the league.
At the start of the season, we were having this conversation after the first few weeks. People saying same old negativity. We were talking about 4th and 5th, and then we're talking about I think this. I think so. It's not negativity. We're basing our conversations, our opinions on what's happened over the last couple of months, whatever the change has been. So, I think that's kind of unfair to say that we're always being negative. We're not being negative. It's kind of hard to be positive at the minute. Somebody highlighted there, a couple of young lads got to run out tonight, got a bit more match experience. Ren really got a start, but other than that, you can't take many positives out of tonight. Yes, early on you were robbed from a penalty, could have went differently. The way that the game, I suppose, finished out, we kind of ran out of legs a bit, ran out of steam. Pats looked just more efficient, looked far more clinical. The quality of players, you can't really look past that. So I just think that tonight was maybe better, apart from the great conversation on here and the debate as such. I think maybe. Bad night at the office for Harps. I think we can just sort of sign us off.
Take that comment there from Robert Love here. Right. I'll read it to you actually because you can respond to it. Right. The crucial factor in any assessment is the scale of the budget he has and has now. Money has been spent now, but there was very little before. I honestly doubt anyone else would have matched Ollie's record up to last season. This year is only halfway through yet, but they do look like a bottom 3 club now. What do you reckon there? Fair statement from Rob.
Yeah, well, I suppose if you go through the last as I spoke about earlier, the last 2 months, we don't look great. But then we look up in Tala, we look great. Against the best side in the league. So and then what went wrong, and then last week against Derry, there wasn't much in it. It was actually similar to the game in the Brandywell, where both teams had chances, but then
it was.
Harps took theirs in the Brandywell, and Derry, kind of took theirs the last night. So it's just tough. It's a tough one at the minute. When you talk about budgets and stuff, think about budgets. Who really knows what's been spent? That's what
You actually don't know unless it's been made public. You don't know.
You have players coming from Dublin. You have players coming from. Over from Scotland, you have players coming from England as such, so there's as we all know, they don't come for 50 a week, they don't come for 100 a week, they don't come for 250 a week, so these lads are well left out. Now, I know that, we do have to try and sell them first team football and maybe a launch pad for their careers. And I'm sure that's what Ollie would use when he's, going to meet these players and stuff, that, they're not always going to be there. And he seems to work off that notion and seems happy enough to do that. So again, that would kind of tie into the fact that, the conversation that we have about, young lads and local lads maybe not getting the game time or the opportunity, because he's just, I suppose, wanting to work within these constraints, within these budgets that he has, and it's not really about. Yes, I believe Ollie wants to be in the Premier League for as long as possible. That's what I think the objective would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think his objective is to try and break into the top 6 or the top 4 or whatever way you would look at it. Like,
you don't?
I don't think. Well, I don't think that he can. That's my honest opinion. I don't think that I don't think that there's enough there to get.
You don't think then that squad is good enough to get in the top 6?
I don't know. As the season has progressed, I thought maybe at the start, yes, I was really optimistic at the start. But from what I've seen over the last, couple of months,
that's the frustrating part for me, because we have competed with these teams. We've got some great results.
Yeah, I was raving about this squad at the start of the season. Anybody that asked me about Harps, what about Harps? I was saying, yeah, what a squad Ollie's put together. That's brilliant. It really has. But just at the moment, look, we're struggling to get wins. The thing, I suppose, good thing is, Foley scoring goals, which is great, and you want your striker. Yeah. He only scored another good goal tonight, and a really well worked move. That started the back from McElhaney, who Boyd popped it back to Barry, who's played him through. Great goal, absolutely brilliant. But then the other stuff that maybe we were always kind of generally good at, like the just defending and being. I'm not want people to come on and say, "Oh, you're saying that there because you played the back for Harps." I made a lot of mistakes. I played with lads that made a lot of mistakes as well. That's not what we're saying. But we seem to have maybe forfeited that side for maybe more attacking play, and have become maybe a bit easier, to concede soft goals. That's basically.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely spot on. D. O'Neill reckons you're on the fence. Get off the fence, Keith. You'll get splinters in your arse. Columbus came on again there. What did he say?
There's enough slapping being done tonight. I don't need to get involved. There's enough boys sticking knives in for day without me getting involved here. But you see the point.
But Columbus come on there now and said there's no club of Van Harps on the table whose entire squad go out of contract in December. We live hand to mouth season to season. It's only a week or two ago Derry has someone on a 3-year deal. Well, why do we live week to week, season to season? Why? We live hand to mouth season to season because we don't have a sustainable club, obviously. So I don't really know if that's something we only live hand to mouth every season. So that's, again, you'd probably have to question, do we need to change the model then? Because what's the point? If you're just doing this every season, round and round, saying the same things, you have no money, living hand to mouth, just keeping our head above water, surely we can build something that is sustainable and that you can grow.
Yeah.
Because other clubs seem to do it. It's not every single club in the League Variance had absolutely massive investment, and then we know there's been high profile clubs that have got in trouble with it, but I don't know. We'll not be able to find the answers tonight. But the comments are flowing, and again, as Keith says, great conversation. That's what it's about. Look, the Legends Silverware podcast, me and him played for Harps. We love the club. You all love the club, and that's what we want to have. We want to have conversations. We want people's opinions to be heard. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Yeah. But just want to clarify, me and Cowan are not on here calling Ollie's head. All we're asking is to have a bigger conversation about what is next. Are we going to just keep doing the same thing, or can we take the next step? Maybe we can't. Maybe it's an investment issue. Maybe we need the new stadium and better infrastructure and everything else. But hey, we can ask the question. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you've seen any other comments come in there, Karen. I know we're well over 2 hours. We'll wrap it up soon, but.
Yeah, Mary McGinty says, Keith, you're completely agree with you. Well, that's great, Mary. Thanks. Thanks a million. I'm not really sure. That's the only one that stood out to me. So I'm going to go with that one. Cheers, Mary.
I don't even see that. You've just made that up. I don't even see.
Dylan Dory, Felix was right. So Felix is always right. So
Felix is always right.
Fair play. Robert Love says, this is 100% true. Shocking defensive errors, bad goalkeeping errors, desperate for more own set pieces. That's kind of.
I mean, that's something you can question. That's what I mean. That's something you could say that's uncharacteristic for Harps to be conceding those goals, as you mentioned, count set pieces, soft goals. Why is that happening? Like, it's not that their squad's a million miles better than us and they're playing us off the pitch. Even there tonight, 3 out of the 4 goals, all avoidable. Well in the game, lost 4-1. So,
yeah. See anything else there, Chief? That jumps out to you that you want to try. You're kind of afraid of calling these questions now.
No, I'm afraid to. Nisha O'Farrell, the club needs to switch from the co-op to an annual members model. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a cooperative model is great in one way in terms of protecting the club, like, but it's not conducive to growing something that might be a little bit bigger than. So, I agree with that. Dylan Doherty agrees with you again, Keith. Does anyone agree with me? No, fuck yous. Agree with Keith. Something needs to happen to make the club more sustainable. If that's about, I said Forks. He made a mistake. He's corrected himself. Good man, Dylan.
He's bad, Chief, when you're crying out for a bit of help there.
Everyone loves you. Like, you absolutely. I'm just a mouthpiece. Like, they're all like, would that fucking Forker ever shut up in the cow and chat?
Angry wee man.
Garbage player. Columba Malloy's, and again, you can take that. I've read enough from Columba, but is there any other comments? I know we've given Columba a lot of oxygen there tonight. He's just although Columba, we appreciate it. Just to say, Columba, like, great. That's what it's about.
Columba's fair play to him. Yeah, he's here again. He's saying, look, Sligo were able to raise 100,000. You know, that's a great, for a local club, for the town that supported them, that was superb. Harps haven't got that type of backing. Harps haven't got that type of money raised. I think the Harps raised like maybe 20 or 30 grand at the same idea. Is that right? I
think they did. It was a GoFundMe thing, wasn't it? For for the changing rooms or something. Again,
yeah, that's not the model that you want to try and use either. That's not the way you want to try and run your club, setting up GoFundMe pages and things like that. There, look, it's worked out for them that time because they got themselves into serious trouble last season off the back of that, and they were able to turn around and get things sorted for this year and are absolutely flying. So
they are.
I think we've done really well here, Chief. As you say, we're on for over 2 hours, and as we say, look, great conversation. Everyone adding their bets.
What about this? That's a great comment to finish on. Mary McGinty, Forks, it's the power of the man bun. There it is. That's your man bun, Cowan. Hey, your man bun. That's where all your wee ideas come from.
Well, look, you'll be home now. You'll be home now in a few weeks, and you'll be able to. I'll be able to give you a few pointers. See if we can do something. You've had the same haircut now since you're 12, so like your dual change. Put it like that.
Well, you stop. Hey, you need to cut the hair. Hey, you're the opposite of Samson. Hey, Samson, once you cut your hair, you lost all your Jeez, you're sharp tonight on any wee slips. Any wee slips at all. I meant Samson, not Samsung. Samson. Card Harkin, great show, lads, and good watch. Good man, Harks. Still think he should be involved in the squad.
Yeah, definitely.
To be honest. You're not a nice guy.
But leadership in there times like that, even things aren't going too well, would be definitely what you want to try and turn the tide. Look, I think we'll leave it there, Chief. I think it's been.
I leave it there. I've had enough abuse for one night off Columba Malloy. So,
no, thanks everyone again. Thanks everyone for getting involved. Making it a great show, and I think it's been one of the best shows we've had in terms of the comments. It's been really good people getting involved. I've really enjoyed it, Chief. I know you have too. Even though you've been rattled a few times tonight. Look, this is going to go on to our Facebook page.
Rattled by you more than anyone, you prick.
You're easily rattled. It'll be on our Facebook page and YouTube, so you can get on there. You can give it a watch later on again to go back over some of the stuff we talked about. Again, recommend it to people. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's all the past podcasts are on there and stuff. So for us tonight, big game on Friday against Longford, I think. So I think that's a must-win game for Harps. So we'll try and get something organised, maybe a watch-along or something again for that, because tonight's been really good and really positive. So no, look, superb from everyone. Chief, thanks a million. And Bosch again doing all the tech stuff. So superb. We'll leave it there, folks. And we'll chat to you again soon. Okay, cheers.
Thanks a million, guys.